Chapter 1845. Ding! Host has triggered a chain random mission. Kill Lien Jun of the Lien family in 10 days. At this time, a system notification rang out. As expected, the chain random mission this time was related to the conflict between the Lien family and the Qi family. Following this, Yi Xian stayed in the Qi family. During this time, he also broke through and became a 3rd-ranked true sage. Old Tree and the others also became 7th-ranked true sages. 7 days later, the Qi family was ready to set off. The Qi family head led the large group and rushed toward the agreed location. They spent about 3 days on the journey. After 3 days, they arrived at the agreed location. It was exactly 10 days later. What a pity that Li Jun didn't come. Perhaps he's already nearby, but didn't appear because he saw so many experts? Yi Xian sighed helplessly. If Li Jun had appeared, Yi Xian could have asked Qi how to have the experts of the Qi family kill Li Jun and get rid of this problem. Unfortunately, Li Jun seemed to have disappeared and didn't appear. This time, the Qi family had brought a lot of experts. The Qi family head leading the group was a 1st-ranked true monarch. In addition, there were also 6th-ranked true monarchs and 9th-ranked true monarchs, as well as dozens of high-level true monarchs. The Qi family was determined to win this battle. Don't forget that Qi Hao had participated in the 100 Scales meeting. At that time, although that huge person was only a 1st-ranked true monarch, he had fused with 300 World Destruction Dragon Scales. One had to know that other 1st-ranked true monarchs could fuse at most 180 World Destruction Dragon Scales, but he had fused with more than 300 World Destruction Dragon Scales. This was enough to see Lord Pang's aptitude. As such, Lord Pang's experience was very useful to Qi Hao. Although it was only 10 days, Lord Pang's experience had greatly benefited Qi Hao, and his battle strength had increased by 10%. Although it was only 10% of his battle strength, in this kind of situation, it was very likely to decide the outcome of the battle. We have to be careful. If the Lien clan loses this time, they might go back on their word and fight with us. They probably won't just leave obediently. Before the Lien family arrived, Qi Hao couldn't help but warn Yi Xian. If it were before, Yi Xian might have been a little afraid. But now, he was not afraid at all. However, the random chain mission this time was to kill Lien Jun of the Lien family. Lien Jun was a 9th-stage half-step true lord expert who had fused with 200 world-destroying dragon scales. His strength was not to be underestimated. Most importantly, the Lien clan's Lien Jun was currently the #1 target of the Lien clan's protection, so it wouldn't be so easy to kill him. Lien Jun will definitely have a lot of experts protecting him. When the time comes, I'll have to use the experts from the Qi family to hold him back. Then, I'll kill him in one strike. Yi Xian thought to himself as he glanced at the World Devastator ghostly dragon beside him. The World Destroyer Ogre Dragon, who did not use the Ogre Dragon transformation and remained in his human form, looked quite dashing. However, because his realm was too low, no one would notice him at all. As such, it would be easy to launch a sneak attack when the time came. After a while, the Lien clan's team arrived. This time, the number of experts in the Lien clan's team was about the same as the Qi clan's. If they were to fight, both sides would definitely suffer. No one would be able to gain an advantage. Patriarch Qi, you're early. A middle-aged man from the Lien clan said to the patriarch of the Qi clan. Patriarch Lien is earlier than the agreed time. Then, should we start now or wait for the time to come? Patriarch Qi asked. Let's follow the agreed time. The patriarch of the Lien clan said. At the same time, he sized up the Qi clan's team and saw the 200-scale genius from the Qi clan, Qi Ming. Both sides were sizing up each other's strength. At the same time, they were using voice transmissions to discuss in private. In fact, whether it was the Lien clan or the Qi clan, they both had the same idea. If they were to lose, then they would directly shed all pretense of cordiality and not let the other party have an easy time. Yi Xian had already considered this point. After all, the strength of the Blood Flame Hall was very strong. If he could join, then the strength of the Blood Flame Hall would rise greatly. Even if both sides suffered losses, he had to obtain this spot. Qi Ming, that's Lien Jun. What do you think the chances of winning are? Patriarch Qi asked. Father, please rest assured. I don't dare to say that I have a 100% chance of winning this battle, but I definitely have a 90% chance. Qi Ming said. Good, very good. However, you have to be careful. I'm afraid that the Lien clan will play some tricks later. Patriarch Qi reminded. In his expectations, Qi Ming would be able to win this battle. However, Qi Ming had broken through to the 9th stage half-step True Monarch earlier than Lien Jun. Moreover, he had already integrated 203 World Destruction Dragon Scales. Lien Jun had just integrated 200 World Destruction Dragon Scales. It was precisely because of this that he was able to break through to the 9th stage half-step True Monarch. In comparison, Qi Ming's chances of winning were indeed much higher. However, this did not guarantee that Qi Ming would definitely win. Soon, it was time for the agreed time. Patriarch Qi, shall we? Patriarch Lien clan said. Hearing this, the head of the Qi family nodded slightly, and Qi Ming immediately walked out. On the other side, a person walked out from the Lien clan's team. It was a young man with dark skin. As for the Qi clan and the Lien clan, both sides retreated far away. The relative distance between them was about the same. If you are ready, then begin yourselves, Patriarch Lien clan said. No one was a child anymore. The moment they walked out, they were already prepared. This way, there was no need for anyone to call for them to begin. However, just as Patriarch Lien clan's voice fell, Qi Ming and Lien Jun both transformed. Originally, the Qi clan and the Lien clan were both separated from the same clan of black dragons. However, as time passed and various interests drove the two clans into conflict. Simply speaking, both clans were Zuyuyoists. Their true forms were black dragons. Roar! Roar! 2 dragon roars rang out almost at the same time, falling into everyone's ears. In the next moment, these two huge figures began to fight. Bang! 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 A series of muffled sounds rang out. Almost all battles between Zuyuyoists were physical confrontations. In the immortal realm, there were very few people who could refine the heavenly demon heart. However, in the holy realm it could be seen everywhere. This was because it was the most common heavenly demon heart for Zuyuyoists in the holy realm. However, as soon as the battle started, Qi Ming directly found a flaw in the opponent's body and ruthlessly whipped him with his dragon tail. Humph, as expected, Qi Ming is slightly better. This Lien Jun's strength simply can't compare to Qi Ming's. A Qi clan elder said with a cold humph. Once these words were said, everyone nodded. They reckoned that Qi Ming would definitely win this battle. However, what astonished them was that Lien Jun's ability to resist attacks was really too strong. If an ordinary person had been whipped by Qi Ming a few times, they would have already been defeated. However, this Lien Jun didn't. The wounds on his body were much fewer than what everyone had expected. Chapter 1846. It seems that this battle is in the bag. Everyone, be careful in case the Lien family plays any tricks. The patriarch of the Qi family hurriedly sent a voice transmission to everyone and then said to Qi Ming, don't go too far. Come back. Originally, Qi Ming and Lien Jun were fighting between the two sides, but with Lien Jun's defeat, their battlefield was much closer to the Lien family, so the patriarch of the Qi family reminded them. After hearing this, Qi Ming immediately reacted. This position was very unfavorable for him. Just now, he was a little too excited, so he took advantage of the victory to pursue. Now that his father reminded him, he immediately stopped and retreated. However, at this moment, go! The patriarch of the Lien family suddenly sent a voice transmission to everyone. In the next moment, all the experts of the Lien family turned into black dragons and charged toward Qi Ming. As long as I kill you, I want to see what qualifications the Qi family has to compete with our Lien family. The patriarch of the Lien family thought to himself. Not good. Qi Ming and the experts of the Qi family saw this, and their expressions changed drastically. Sure enough, the Lien family was going back on their word. Fortunately, the patriarch of the Qi family had reminded them, otherwise, Qi Ming would have gone deeper, and it would have been even more difficult to escape. No, the current Qi Ming was still not out of danger. Bastard, you were having a good time just now, weren't you? Take this. Suddenly, an unfamiliar voice fell into Qi Ming's ears. The one who spoke was the black dragon in front of him, Lien Jun. Before he could react, Lien Jun flashed to his side. Then, his huge body turned, and his dragon tail quickly whipped out, directly hitting Qi Ming's dragon back. In an instant, Qi Ming was hit by the Lien family's experts. This Lian Jun was actually pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. His strength was probably higher than Qi Ming's. Qi Ming couldn't understand. Lian Jun, who had just broken through to the 9th grade half-step true monarch, was actually stronger than him. But then he knew. Trash. Do you think I only fused with the World Extermination Dragon Scale? I fused with a section of the World Extermination Dragon Bone. Lian Jun continued. World Extermination Dragon Bone. Lian Jun had actually fused with a piece of the World Extermination Dragon Bone. If the emissary of the Bloodfire Hall came, Qi Ming would definitely be suppressed by Lian Jun. After all, only 1 in 100 people could fuse with a dragon bone. Previously, Yi Xian had also seen a black dragon that had fused with the dragon bone of Armageddon. However, that was only an immortal beast, so it was probably just a stroke of luck. Now, the person who has fused with the dragon bone of destruction is actually a Zuyoist. This is really awesome. Kill. Kill Lian Jun at all costs. The Qi family patriarch's eyes immediately turned red. He felt that Qi Ming was doomed this time. Since that was the case, then the Qi family would fight to the death with the Lian family. In an instant, the experts of the Qi family all transformed into their true forms. Even the 6th-stage half-step true monarch Qi Hao did the same. An earth-shattering battle was about to unfold. At the same time, Yi Xian was looking at the experts in front of him, planning in his heart. He actually managed to fuse with a piece of the dragon bone of destruction. That means his strength is comparable to that of a true lord. With the heaven-breaking ape god's strength, I'm afraid it'll be difficult to kill him. Yi Xian thought in his heart. The heaven-breaking ape god was now only a 7th-stage true monarch. Even with the mystic god armor, it would be difficult to kill Lian Jun. After all, Lian Jun was completely protected by the Lian family. At this time, Yi Xian was thinking how good it would be if Wei Zhentian's magical equipment system was upgraded to level 2. Then, the mystic god armor would be level 2. Would he still be afraid of not being able to kill Lian Jun? Whatever, kill. As long as we kill all the experts of the Lian family, then Lian Jun is dead for sure. Thinking of this, Yi Xian directly summoned the old tree and the others. Wei Zhentian transformed into the Myriad Beasts diagram and suppressed all the black dragons. In the Myriad Beasts diagram, as long as it was a beast, it would be suppressed. Of course, Yi Xian's physical body would not be affected. In this way, the old tree and the others played a greater role. Inferno Soul Locking Chain. Inferno Soul Suppressing Tablet. Inferno Soul Breaking Strike. Heaven Shocking 72 Strikes. Dragon Roar of Destruction. Black Dragon Wave of Destruction. The old tree, the heaven-splitting ape god, and the world destroyer ghost dragon all used their trump cards. As for Luo Luo, Yi Xian did not summon her because his time reversal skill could not be used before the holder of the bloodline died. If something went wrong, then it would be a tragedy. As for himself, he did not merge with the world destroyer ghost dragon. After all, he was looking for an opportunity to suddenly kill Lian Jun. The Myriad Beasts diagram, the bloodline of the Divine Beast Envoy, and the title of Divine Beast Envoy gave the old tree and the others super strong abilities. If they did not transform, these people would not be affected. However, once they transformed, their combat power would be reduced by 50%. Moreover, if they were injured by the old tree and the others, the damage would be increased. However, these Zuyoists did not know. Oh right. At this time, Yi Xian suddenly thought of this. He could use the Myriad Beasts diagram to turn the situation around. Immediately, he sent a voice transmission to Qi Hao. Qi Hao, let the people of the Qi family return to their human forms. Why? Qi Hao said in surprise. I have a magic treasure that can suppress at least 50% of your original strength. After you return to your original form, you won't be affected. As long as you act together, you can instantly wipe out most of the experts of the Lian family. Yi Xian said. What? Our strength decreased because of your magic treasure? After hearing this, Qi Hao was very shocked. No one knew the reason for the decrease in their strength, but they did not expect that it was Yi Xian's doing. If what Yi Xian said was true, then they would definitely win this battle. Qi Hao pondered for a moment. After all, if what Yi Xian said was false, then their strength would decrease by a lot. After all, their original form was stronger. However, Qi Hao finally decided to believe Yi Xian and then sent a voice transmission to the experts of the Qi family. When the experts of the Qi family heard this, They hesitated. If it was false, their Qi family would definitely lose people. But if it was true, then the Lien family would definitely be destroyed this time. Patriarch, what should we do? Someone asked through voice transmission. When the patriarch of the Qi family heard this, he could not help but look at Qi Ming, who was surrounded by the experts of the Lien family. Under normal circumstances, they would not be able to save Qi Ming. But if what Qi Hao said was true, then Qi Ming's strength would greatly increase. At that time, not only would Qi Ming not die, he would even be able to suppress the crowd and challenge the Lien family alone. This magic treasure has indeed reduced our strength by 50%. Even the Lien family is the same. The patriarch of the Qi family thought for a moment and immediately made a decision. Everyone change. This voice transmission reached the ears of all the members of the Qi family. Immediately, the figures of all the Qi family members quickly shrank, including Qi Ming, who was surrounded. Chapter 1847. Although the combat power of the human form was much lower than the original form, after transforming into the human form, the suppressed 50% of the strength returned. Overall, it was much stronger than the original form. If that's the case, kill. The Qi family members widened their eyes and turned into streams of light, charging directly into the Lien family's camp. Even in human form, the Qi family members were much stronger than the Lien family members whose strength had been reduced by 50%. In an instant, a large number of the Lien family members fell. A full half. What's going on? The Lien family head was shocked. The Qi family's strength was about the same as theirs. Why did their strength increase after transforming into human form? Moreover, why did their strength decrease by 50% in the beginning? Could it be the Qi family's doing? However, it was too late to react now. You're courting death. Qi Ming also transformed into human form and charged directly at the Lien family head, who was a rank 1 true lord. Bang! With just one punch, the Lien family head was sent flying. He spat out a mouthful of blood like it was raining. Looking at this chaotic battle, Yi Xian had already begun to move quietly. Merge! In an instant, Yi Xian merged with the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon, and his strength skyrocketed. Slaughter Seal explode! Earlier, the old tree, the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon, and the heaven-breaking Divine Ape had joined forces to kill 1 or 2 experts of the Lien family. Therefore, Yi Xian's Slaughter Seal had reached 6. Now, all 6 of them were exploding. With more than 7 times the strength, Yi Xian's aura was shockingly strong. After merging, Yi Xian could still use the previous skills even though he had transformed into the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon. The pair of pitch-black dragon eyes stared and landed on Lien Jun. Then, the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon's figure quietly disappeared. Eye of Assassination. In the next moment, the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon had already arrived behind Lien Jun. Flame Kill. Black Dragon Wave. Boom. The World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon opened its mouth and directly spat out a scorching dragon breath. Yi Xian had already marked Lien Jun with the death warrant, so even if Lien Jun transformed into his original form, Yi Xian would still be able to find him. Although Lien Jun had fused with the apocalyptic dragon bone and reached the 9th stage half-step true monarch realm, his current strength had dropped by 50%. If Lien Jun were to be compared to Li Jun, he was truly nothing. Yi Xian had only used a single black dragon flame wave to blast half of his body into smithereens. Ding! Host has completed the 2nd round of the chain random mission. The system beeped. Yi Xian had completed his mission. In that case, this battle was more or less over. Yi Xian had forgotten about the 10,000 beasts diagram. Otherwise, the few of them would have been able to challenge the entire Lien clan. Of course, this was under the condition that the Lien family expert had transformed into his true form. Ha ha ha, Lien clan, today is the day you perish. The head of the Qi family laughed loudly. The faces of the Lien clan members had already sunk to the bottom. It seemed like they were in trouble this time. Although a few of the Lien clan members had transformed back into their human forms, it was of no use. The black dragon corpses continued to float in the air. There were only a few Lien clan experts left. Damn it, how did you do it? The head of the Lien clan roared loudly. Die! However, the head of the Qi family had no intention of wasting his breath and attacked directly. Under the siege of a group of people, the head of the Lien clan was directly blasted to death and turned into a corpse. This battle was a complete victory for the Qi family. Moreover, it seemed like no one had died. This was all because of Yi Xian. Ha ha ha, the Lian clan's team has been annihilated. Awesome. Even Lian Jun, who had fused with the apocalyptic dragonbone, has fallen. The Lian clan is no longer a threat to us. Head of the Qi family, why don't we take advantage of this victory and kill our way to the Lian clan's mansion? The experts of the Qi family could not hide their joy. However, the head of the Qi family did not let his joy get to his head. He turned his head and looked at Yi Xian. Little brother, was that your Dharma treasure just now? Yes, it was my natal Dharma treasure. Yi Xian nodded and summoned the Million Beasts diagram. A natal Dharma treasure meant that only Yi Xian could use it. Even if others obtained it, they would not be able to use it. Good, it's all thanks to you this time. Otherwise, even if our Qi family won, we would have suffered heavy losses. The head of the Qi family thanked him and said, Little brother, we may be going directly to the Lian clan's mansion next. Can you help us one more time? Don't worry, when the time comes, we will definitely give you a satisfactory reward. Reward? How much? Yi Xian raised his eyebrows. He had forgotten about this matter. He was originally just a passerby. Not only did he save Qi Hao, but he also saved so many people and helped the Qi family take down the Lian clan. He was not a saint. How could he not want a reward? The Lian clan still has a first-stage true monarch. However, with the help of your Dharma treasure, even a second-stage true monarch will fall. After this matter is settled, I am willing to give you 2,000 World Annihilation Dragon Scales as a reward, said the head of the Qi family. 2,000 World Annihilation Dragon Scales? Yi Xian could not help but laugh when he heard this. At first it was 1 scale. Later on it was 5 scales. Then, it was the 3rd stage of the World Annihilation Dragon Scales. It required 20 World Annihilation Dragon Scales to increase its strength by 1%. 2,000 World Annihilation Dragon Scales were enough for the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon to complete the 3rd stage. In other words, its combat power would be doubled. Awesome. Okay, deal. Yi Xian immediately agreed. This deal was really profitable. Although the Qi family was not small, there were so many people in the family. The number of World Annihilation Dragon Scales required was actually quite large. However, with the addition of the Lian family, they would be able to gather 2,000 World Annihilation Dragon Scales. The Qi family was actually interested in the cultivation resources of the Lian family. Although the World Annihilation Dragon Scales were precious, ordinary people did not need so many of them. Cultivation realm was more important. Yi Xian did not lack cultivation resources. What he lacked was the World Annihilation Dragon Scales. The Qi family was the exact opposite. The two complemented each other. It was a win-win situation. After cleaning up the battlefield, the Qi family's team continued on their journey. Yi Xian estimated that they would arrive at the Lian family in 3 days. During the journey, Yi Xian's cultivation realm broke through again. He became a 4th stage true sage. The old tree and the others became 8th stage true sages. Their strength had also increased qualitatively. At this time, the Qi family's team had already arrived at the Lian family's mansion. After sensing so many powerful auras, the experts in the Lian family's mansion could not remain calm. They all flew into the sky. They were all high-level half-step true monarchs. Previously, the Lian family's head had only brought half of the Lian family's combat power. The reason why they left half was that they were afraid that the Qi family would turn around and attack them. Chapter 1848. The Qi family? Suddenly, an old voice sounded. Then, an old man walked out from the group of Lian family experts. He was a rank 1 true monarch and was the previous family head of the Lian family. Lian family, today will be the day of your destruction. The family head of the Qi family coldly snorted. I didn't expect you to be so cowardly as to attack my Lian family. What a disgrace. The old family head thought that the Qi family didn't keep their promise and couldn't help but mock them. Hee hee. The family head of the Qi family cracked a smile and threw out corpses from his yin and yang ring. These corpses belonged to the experts of the Lian family, including the family head and the number 1 genius of the Lian family, Lian Jun. When the Lian family saw them clearly, they were all dumbfounded. How is this possible? The old family head was shocked. The experts that his son brought out this time were already half of the Lian family's experts. How could they still die? Could it be that the Qi family's experts were all mobilized? That couldn't be right. His son was a rank 1 true monarch. Even if he couldn't win, he should be able to escape back to the Lien family. How could he have been killed without even sending back a single piece of news? Thinking of this, the old family head knew that the Qi family must have set up an ambush and found experts. My son. The old family head was very pained. He was so angry that his whole body trembled. Cut the crap. I said that today will be the day of your Lien family's destruction. Attack. The family head of the Qi family said nothing and directly transformed into a black dragon. The experts of the Qi family also did the same. Seeing this, the experts of the Lien family also transformed. They reckoned that this time, the Lien family's family head was dead. This grudge must be avenged. Yi Xian, who was only a half-step perfected person, stood in the distance and watched. As for Wei Zhentian, it had already transformed into an ordinary treasure and hung on Qi Hao's body. When the time was right, Wei Zhentian would immediately transform into the myriad beasts diagram and suppress everyone. Of course, before that, the Qi family had to put on a show and find a suitable opportunity to quickly eliminate the experts of the Lien family. Rumble. In the sky above the Lien family, a group of black dragons were fighting and screaming. In the distance, Yi Xian was waiting for an order from the family head. At this moment, little brother, do it. In Yi Xian's mind, the voice of the Qi family head finally rang out. Immediately, he gave the command to Daidea. In the next moment, Wei Zhentian transformed into the myriad beasts diagram. However, the Qi family had come prepared this time. When the Qi family head had sent a voice transmission to Yi Xian, many of them had already taken human form. As soon as the myriad beasts diagram appeared, the experts of the Lien clan were instantly suppressed, their strength dropping by 50%. On the other side, the Qi family's experts had all transformed into their human forms. Their strength far surpassed the Lien family's experts. Kill! The Qi clan's experts attacked with all their might, killing more than half of the Lien clan's experts in an instant. Now, whether it was in terms of individual combat strength or numbers, the Qi family had the advantage. In that case, there was no suspense in this battle. Very quickly, the Lien clan was occupied by the Qi clan's troops. Then, they began to plunder without restraint. If even the high-level half-step true lords in his family were all dead, then the mid-level and low-level half-step true lords wouldn't be able to do anything. After that, the Qi family head quickly collected 2,000 pieces of World Annihilation Dragon Scales. These 2,000 pieces of World Annihilation Dragon Scales were originally for the Lien clan's family head to nurture new prodigies. Unexpectedly, the Lien clan's family head was annihilated, so these World Annihilation Dragon Scales fell into the hands of the Qi family head. Previously, the Qi family head had promised to give Yi Xian 2,000 pieces of World Annihilation Dragon Scales as long as Yi Xian helped to destroy the Lien clan. Little brother, it's all thanks to you this time. Here are 2,000 pieces of World Annihilation Dragon Scales. Take them. The Qi family head generously handed the items to Yi Xian. The latter checked and found that there were exactly 2,000 pieces. Immediately, he threw these World Annihilation Dragon Scales into the planting space for the World Annihilation Ghostly Dragon. 2,000 pieces of World Annihilation Dragon Scales were enough to increase the World Annihilation Ghostly Dragon's combat strength by 100%. The first stage was 1 piece, the second stage was 5 pieces, and the third stage was 20 pieces. In that case, in the fourth stage, how much would the World Annihilation Dragon Scales increase by every 1%? Thank you, Senior. Yi Xian grinned and hurriedly thanked him. Next, the Qi family head ordered a few people to stay in the Lien clan while he led the team back to the Qi family. Now that the Lien clan had been destroyed and their number 1 genius, Lien Jun, had fallen, the Lien clan was no longer a threat. In a few days, the Blood Flame Hall's emissary would arrive. At that time, no one would compete with Qi Ming for the qualifications to enter the Blood Flame Hall. However, with Yi Xian around, the Qi family's team directly passed through the Void Door and returned to the Qi family. You came back just in time. The Blood Flame Hall's emissary sent a message saying that he will arrive at our Qi family in 3 days. An old man said to the Qi family head, Father, isn't the Blood Flame Hall's emissary only coming a month later? The Qi family head asked in shock. According to the plan, but now that the Lien clan has been destroyed, it doesn't matter. It's good to let Qi Ming enter the Blood Flame Hall as soon as possible. The old man revealed a gratified smile and said, "This must be little brother Yi Xian. Thank you very much this time. Senior is too polite," Yi Xian said with a smile. Next, Yi Xian continued to stay in the Qi family because the third part of the chain of random missions had yet to appear. Before the Blood Flame Hall's emissary arrived, Yi Xian's cultivation had broken through again, reaching the 5th stage of True Sage while the old tree and the others were 9th stage True Sages. As for Luo Luo, she had already reached the half-step True Monarch realm. With their current strength, even if they didn't use the Myriad Beast diagram, they could still destroy the Qi family or the Lian family. 3 days later, a powerful aura descended on the Qi family. After feeling this powerful aura, the Qi family's experts rushed out. The Qi family head, Qi Ming, Qi Hao, and Yi Xian all appeared. "Greetings, Lord Emissary." The Qi family's experts immediately understood that the middle-aged man in front of them was the emissary from the Blood Flame Hall. He was here to bring talented geniuses back to the Blood Flame Hall. "Yes." The middle-aged man nodded slightly and said, "Since you already know my identity, there's no need to say anything more. On the way here, I've already heard about the Lian family. In that case, they should have lost their qualifications." Gulp. Hearing this, the Qi family's experts broke out in cold sweat. After the Lian family's experts died, they took control of the Lian family. The news of the Lian family's Lian Jun fusing with a world-destroying dragon bone didn't spread, so they weren't worried about the middle-aged man's anger. Chapter 1849. Before anyone could speak, the middle-aged man continued, "There are countless geniuses in this world, but only those who can grow up can be considered true geniuses. The fallen Lian Jun died halfway, which means that he didn't have the luck to do so. All right, who is Qi Ming in your family?" Hearing this, Qi Ming immediately stepped forward and said, "Qi Ming greets Senior." The middle-aged man sensed carefully and said, "Yes, you have indeed fused with 200 World Destruction Dragon Scales and are qualified to join the Blood Flame Army of the Blood Flame Hall. Prepare yourself and leave with me." "Yes, Senior," Qi Ming said respectfully. Then, the middle-aged man looked around to see if there were any talents in the Qi family that could be molded. In the end, he focused his attention on a single person. No, it couldn't be said to be a person, but an immortal beast. What a strong aura of destruction. A mere 9th grade perfected person has actually fused with no less than 200 World Destruction Dragon Scales? The middle-aged man was shocked. At this moment, he felt this aura from the World Destruction Ghost Dragon. Qi Ming, a 9th grade half-step perfected lord, had fused with 200 World Destruction Dragon Scales. The World Destruction Ghost Dragon was only a 9th grade perfected person, but its aura was not inferior to Qi Ming's. The strongest people in the Qi family were 2 1st-grade perfected lords, but this emissary from the Blood Flame Hall was a 3rd-grade perfected lord. He just happened to feel the aura of the World Destruction Ghost Dragon. However, what he didn't know was that the World Destruction Ghost Dragon had already fused with more than 200 World Destruction Dragon Scales. Just a few days ago, it had already fused with more than 2,000 World Destruction Dragon Scales. If he really counted, the World Destruction Ghost Dragon had already fused with more than 2,500 World Destruction Dragon Scales and many World Destruction Dragon Bones. However, the middle-aged man couldn't completely feel it. "Who does this immortal beast belong to?" the middle-aged man asked immediately. Yi Xian looked into his eyes and said with a frown, "Senior, it's a beast that I tamed. I'm a beast tamer." "It's you?" The middle-aged man was shocked because he felt that Yi Xian was only a 5th-grade perfected person. His realm was really low. However, for a rank 5 True Master to be able to subdue a rank 9 True Master like the world-destroying Ghost Dragon, he was quite capable. "Let me ask you, how many Annihilation Dragon Scales has he fused with?" the middle-aged man asked. Yi Xian's heart trembled as he replied, 250. "What?" Once these words were spoken, the surrounding Qi family members were all extremely shocked. Among them, the most shocked was naturally Qi Hao. He still remembered when Yi Xian had told him that the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon had only absorbed 150 World Destroyer Dragon Scales. But now, how come there were suddenly 100 more? Not bad, not bad. You have such aptitude as a rank 9 True Master. If he was in my Blood Flame Hall, he would be able to instantly kill any genius. Unfortunately, he seems to have yet to take human form? The middle-aged man nodded with satisfaction. Even though the World Devastator Ghost Dragon is in human form right now, it is still fundamentally different from Yi Xian and the others. When the World Devastator Ghost Dragon truly cultivates its human form, it will become a Zuyawist like the old tree. Yi Xian also felt a little helpless. The World Devastator Ghost Dragon is just a bystander. Why is it so important? Young man, I guess it must be because of you that he was able to absorb so many World Destroyer Dragon scales, right? The middle-aged man focused his attention on Yi Xian again. Beast tamers usually have some special methods to increase the strength of immortal beasts or other things. Yes, Yi Xian said with a nod at once. That's good. You can follow me back to the Blood Flame Hall later. The middle-aged man's eyes brightened. If Qi Ming was compared to the World Devastator Ghost Dragon, he would be instantly crushed by the latter. What kind of genius is that? In front of the World Devastator Ghost Dragon, they are all trash. This? Yi Xian was somewhat hesitant. What? You don't want to? The middle-aged man frowned. The Blood Flame Hall is the overlord of this area. Countless people want to join it but have no way to do so. However, Yi Xian was actually still hesitating. Senior, I have something to do now. To be honest, I have a huge grudge that has yet to be avenged. Yi Xian said. What grudge? Tell me and I will help you get it. The middle-aged man said. I won't trouble you. When I get my revenge, I will definitely go to the Blood Flame Hall. Yi Xian replied. The middle-aged man paused and asked, How long will it take? A year at most. Okay, then I will wait a year. The middle-aged man immediately nodded. A year was nothing to him, so he could naturally wait. However, in the current situation, even the city was in danger of being destroyed by the black dragons. Therefore, the middle-aged man took out a red armor from his yin and yang ring and threw it to Yi Xian, saying, This is the Blood Flame armor refined by the Blood Flame Hall. Once you wear it, no one below the level of True Lord can hurt you. Hearing this, Yi Xian's eyes lit up and immediately put on the Blood Flame armor. The Blood Flame armor was completely red. After wearing it, it would form a blood flame barrier around it, and it could be retracted and released freely. Originally, Yi Xian was afraid that he could not use time reversal and his safety could not be guaranteed. Now that he had this Blood Flame armor, he reckoned that there would not be too much of a problem. However, he actually hoped that the middle-aged man would give him some World Annihilation Dragon scales. After all, he was an emissary of a large force. At least give him 1,000 or 2,000 World Annihilation Dragon scales, right? After passing the third stage of the World Annihilation Dragon scales, the fourth stage required 50 World Annihilation Dragon scales. 50 World Annihilation Dragon scales could only increase one's combat strength by 1%. Therefore, this stage required 5,000 World Annihilation Dragon scales, which was not a small number. Unfortunately, the middle-aged man did not seem to have any intention of giving Yi Xian the World Annihilation Dragon scales. He felt that Yi Xian should not be lacking World Annihilation Dragon scales. After all, the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon had only fused with 200 pieces. Soon, Qi Ming packed his luggage and left with the middle-aged man. Of course, before the middle-aged man left, Yi Xian had already marked him with a death warrant. At the same time, a system notification sounded in Yi Xian's mind. Ding! The host has triggered the third round of the chain random mission. Assist the Qi family to survive the Black Dragon disaster. The third round of the mission had finally appeared. From the looks of it, it seemed that a large number of black dragons would attack next. However, Yi Xian, who had the myriad beasts diagram, was not afraid at all. Coupled with the experts of the Qi family, this mission would definitely be completed. Sure enough, on the second day after the middle-aged man left with Qi Ming, a black shadow attacked the Qi family. Not good, family head, a large number of black dragons are attacking. A ninth stage half-step true monarch quickly rushed into the residence of the Qi family head. How many? Chapter 1850. There are at least 5,000 of them. Furthermore, their auras are very strong. I'm afraid they are all rank 3 true monarchs, the ninth stage half-step true monarch said. 5,000 black dragons, and the strongest one is a rank 3 true monarch? The Qi family head was shocked. Under such circumstances, those participating in the battle would be at least half-step true monarchs. The Qi family only had 100 people at most. Moreover, if that rank 3 true monarch black dragon attacked, the entire Chi family would be destroyed. Of course, if it was before, the Chi family would definitely be destroyed. However, the Chi family head calmed down a lot when he remembered that there was still a life-saving straw in his family. This life-saving straw was none other than Yi Xian, who possessed the myriad beasts diagram. As long as Yi Xian was present, the threat of the Black Dragon Tide would be reduced by 70%. As long as he had the myriad beasts diagram, the Chi family head was confident that he could deal with that rank 3 true monarch black dragon alone. That huge group of black dragons was rushing toward the Chi family. That 9th stage half-step true monarch had only received a report from the front lines. Immediately, the Chi family head began to gather experts. Yi Xian. While the Chi family head was gathering experts, Chi Hao had already arrived outside Yi Xian's residence. Clang. Yi Xian opened the courtyard door and asked in surprise, "Chi Hao, what's the matter?" "It's like this." A group of black dragons suddenly came from the north of the Chi family. "There are at least 5,000 of them, so..." Chi Hao said. 5,000. Yi Xian was shocked. The largest group he had encountered before was only around 1,000, and it was a group of low-level black dragons. This time, there were 5,000 of them. It was simply inconceivable. "How strong are they?" Yi Xian asked. "There seems to be a rank 3 true monarch black dragon." Chi Hao replied. "Just a rank 3 true monarch?" Yi Xian narrowed his eyes. It seemed that the group of black dragons this time was not weak. However, this was nothing to him right now. At the same time, he also understood that this group of black dragons was the target of the chain random mission. "All right, I got it. I'll go with you." Yi Xian nodded. Chi Hao suddenly frowned and said worriedly, "But your realm?" "Don't worry. Although my realm is low, my strength is not weak. I have the ability to protect myself." Yi Xian replied before heading towards the place where the experts of the Chi family were gathered. This Black Dragon Brigade came out of nowhere. The Chi family gathered 90% of their experts in a short period of time and then readied themselves for battle. Although there were less than 100 people in the Chi family, each and every one of them was an expert. Furthermore, their mission was not to kill all of the black dragons, but to let these black dragons do what they should. As for Yi Xian, he had the same goal. After all, he was helping the Chi family get through this crisis. In order to not let the Chi family be affected, the Chi family's team directly went up to meet them. Soon, they encountered this group of black dragons. Myriad Beasts diagram, suppress. Yi Xian immediately summoned the Myriad Beasts diagram. In the next moment, the speed of the black dragons was greatly reduced. As for the Chi family, they remained in human form. "Come on." Yi Xian did not hold back. He immediately summoned the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon and merged with it. Undying Fighting Soul. Death Hunt Order. Eye of Assassination. World Destroyer Dragon Roar. Yi Xian immediately used the Eye of Assassination. He crossed a large distance and flashed into the midst of the black dragons. Roar. A dragon's roar spread. With the strength of the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon, coupled with the effect of the Master of Imperial Beasts title and the World Destroyer Dragon Roar, the effect was very obvious. Immediately, many black dragons were killed by this attack. Ding. The host's killing intent has increased. Ding. The host's killing intent has increased. Ding. The host has condensed a slaughter seal. Ding. The host has condensed a slaughter seal. System notifications rang out one after another. In the blink of an eye, Yi Xian had 6 more slaughter seals. He then unleashed all of them. 7 times. World Destroyer Dragon Roar. Yi Xian's bloody mouth opened again. Another sound wave attack spread out. This time, the number of black dragons that died was 10 times more than the previous time. 2 rounds of attack had caused the death of hundreds of black dragons. One more time. Yi Xian widened his eyes and unleashed another World Destroyer Dragon Roar. Unfortunately, the strength of the slaughter seals could not be stacked. Otherwise it would be too heaven-defying. The commotion here attracted the attention of the high-level black dragons. Immediately, some of the high-level black dragons at the True Lord level charged toward Yi Xian. Humph! Black Dragon Flame Wave. Yi Xian did not hesitate and opened his mouth to spit out. Although the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon was only at the 9th stage True Master level, after fusing with so many World Destroyer Dragon scales, Coupled with the various enhancements, his attack was enough to kill a first-stage True Lord. After all, these black dragons had their strength suppressed by 50%. Moreover, Yi Xian had a fourfold increase in damage to beasts. The damage was simply explosive. In just one move, those black dragons that wanted to cause trouble for Yi Xian were directly killed. At the same time, the experts of the Qi family finally arrived. The Qi family's patriarch and old patriarch joined forces and directly charged into the group of black dragons like Yi Xian. At this time, there was no need to risk their lives. Therefore, the Qi family's experts fought while retreating. First they had to kill the black dragons. In just a few seconds, more than half of the black dragons were killed. However, the Qi family's side did not lose many people. Roar! That third-stage half-step True Lord Black Dragon roared toward the sky and actually wanted to escape. You want to leave? The Qi family's patriarch and old patriarch joined forces and were determined to cut off this dragon's head. However, at this moment, Black Dragon Flame Wave. Heaven-shocking 72 strikes. Yi Xian and the sky-breaking ape god joined forces and two extremely powerful attacks landed on this black dragon, instantly injuring it. Then, this black dragon was killed by the two true lords of the Qi family who arrived. Once the dragon's head was killed, the other black dragons scattered like rats scurrying across the street. They no longer had any intention of fighting. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Yi Xian and the Qi family's experts quickly killed. Corpses fell from the sky one after another, and a continuous rain of blood fell from the sky. After an unknown amount of time, there were no more black dragons in the sky. The ground was littered with corpses, and blood flowed for thousands of miles. Who would have thought that with the strength of our Qi family, we would be able to exterminate such a large group of black dragons? What a miracle! Yes, this group of black dragons is enough to exterminate a faction that is several times stronger than our Qi family. However, they fell at our hands. Little Brother Ye's origin treasure is really too heaven-defying. It can even suppress a third-stage True Lord Black Dragon. Otherwise, it would have been hard to say whether we could have won this battle. Chapter 1851. Yi Xian could not be bothered with them. He immediately went down to collect the black dragon corpses. The higher the level of the black dragon, the bigger its body. That meant that they would have more dragon scales of destruction. Although the dragon scales of destruction were not as good as the dragon scales of destruction, these black dragons were huge. Many a little makes an ocean. Today, if it were not for Yi Xian, this group of black dragons would have killed their way to the Qi family. When that happened, the Qi family would have been in a bloodbath. Therefore, the Qi family did not take a single cent of the spoils. They gave them all to Yi Xian. Ding! Host has completed the chain random mission. Wei Zhentian's Dharma treasure form has been upgraded. A system notification rang in Yi Xian's mind. The Dharma treasure form had finally been upgraded. Tisk. TSK. TSK. The second-level Dharma treasure, illustration of 10,000 beasts, can suppress 60% of one's strength. Not bad. Yi Xian grinned. Now, he had a total of 4 Dharma treasures. The first was the Mystic Divine Armor, the second was the Necromancer Kettle, the third was the Soul-Absorbing Bell, and the fourth was the illustration of 10,000 beasts. As the Dharma treasure form was upgraded, the effects of these 4 Dharma treasures had also improved. The Mystic Divine Armor's strength and defense had increased. The Necromancer Kettle's refining speed had increased, and the effects of the soul-generating liquid had also increased. The illustration of 10,000 beasts could suppress 60% of one's strength. As for the Soul-Absorbing Bell, it could even control one's mind. It was an enhanced version of the Eye of Soul. With the Soul-Absorbing Bell, my Eye of Soul can be retired. Yi Xian thought to himself. In fact, the Eye of Soul could have been retired long ago. After all, Yi Xian was fighting so many levels higher now. The Eye of Soul was no longer effective. At that moment, he gave this skill to the system and received 2 Devour points. In addition to the 1 point that he did not use previously, he now had a total of 3 points. Other than that, the Dharma treasures that were not fixed had their effects greatly improved. For example, the Immortal Ascension Steps, Sky-Splitting Axe, Immortal Binding Rope, Heaven's Appraisal Stick, Judge's Brush, and so on. All in all, Yi Xian was very satisfied with this reward. Since the mission had been completed, there was no need for Yi Xian to stay in the Qi family any longer. Previously, When he had told the Blood Flame Hall's emissary that he had yet to take revenge, he was actually talking about Li Jun. As long as Li Jun didn't die, he wouldn't be able to use time reversal. If this continued, the Blood Fire Hall would be in trouble. That was why Yi Xian had rejected the middle-aged man. It's been so long, I wonder what Li Jun's realm is? Yi Xian raised an eyebrow. He was suddenly curious. He had already broken through from rank 2 True Master to rank 5 True Master. In that case, Li Jun should have broken through several times as well, right? He wondered what Li Jun's cultivation level would be the next time he met him. Yi Xian didn't care too much. In any case, he was much stronger than before. Furthermore, Wei Zhentian's magic treasure had evolved. He reckoned that he should be able to deal with Li Jun. Qi Hao, seniors, I still have important matters to attend to. I'll take my leave now. After cleaning up the battlefield, Yi Xian said to the experts of the Qi family. The patriarch of the Qi family felt that it was a pity because Yi Xian's magic treasure was too useful. However, Yi Xian still had to take revenge and then go to the Bloodfire Hall, so he couldn't stay in the Qi family for long. All right, be careful. Qi Hao nodded and said. Then, Yi Xian turned around and left. Now that everything was over, he had to start collecting World Annihilation Dragon Scales again. 50 World Annihilation Dragon Scales for 1 point of enhancement was a little too much. Fortunately, World Annihilation Dragon Scales were easier to obtain than World Annihilation Dragon Scales, so he had another channel for enhancement. After that, Yi Xian began to wander around, exterminating the Black Dragon Tribe and obtaining World Annihilation Dragon Scales and World Annihilation Dragon Bones. However, not long after he left the Qi family. A black figure appeared in the sky and was rapidly moving towards him. When Yi Xian heard Old Tree's words, he hurriedly stopped and looked over. Although he couldn't see who it was, Old Tree and World Annihilation Ghost Dragon could see it. It was Li Jun. Li Jun, you finally found me. Let's see how you're going to survive today. Yi Xian's eyes shone brightly. This time he was 100% confident. Why? Because he would be able to achieve another breakthrough in a while. When that happened, his realm would suddenly soar. Wouldn't he be able to take care of Li Jun? There's a path to heaven, but you don't want to take it. There's no door to hell, but you chose to come. Yi Xian couldn't help but smile slightly. He immediately summoned Old Tree and World Annihilation Ghost Dragon. This aura shows that the other party is already a stage 6 half-true lord, Old Tree reminded him. It's just a stage 6 half-true lord. Yi Xian didn't think much of it. However, he felt that the Black Dragon under Li Jun wasn't that simple. What, a true lord? After the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon reported what it sensed to Yi Xian, the latter was also shocked. He still remembered that the last time Li Jun had tamed a third-stage half-step true monarch Black Dragon. But this time, Li Jun had actually jumped 4 realms and tamed a true monarch Black Dragon. He really didn't expect this. Once we get close, we'll directly attack and kill that Black Dragon under him. Yi Xian immediately made a plan in his mind. Li Jun was the holder of the Imperial Beast Messenger bloodline. As long as he killed his Black Dragon, Li Jun would only be an ordinary stage 6 half-true lord. At that time, not to mention the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon, even the Old Tree would be able to kill him. Brat, you're definitely going to die today. Li Jun shouted before he even got close. You'll be the one to die. Yi Xian widened his eyes. After estimating the distance, he directly merged with the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon. His strength soared. Undying fighting soul. In an instant, his strength soared by 3 times. Death Hunting Order. This time, Yi Xian took the initiative to mark the Black Dragon under Li Jun. Unfortunately, when the Death Hunting Order was just marked, Li Jun merged with his Black Dragon. Ding! The Death Hunting Order's effect has disappeared. A system notification sounded. As expected, Li Jun could not be marked by Yi Xian's Death Hunting Order. After he merged with his Black Dragon, the Death Hunting Order was erased. However, this did not matter. Massacre Seal. Million Beasts Illustration. Black Dragon Flame Blast. Before Li Jun could get close, Yi Xian directly opened his mouth and spat out a dragon's breath. This time, the Million Beasts illustration could suppress 60% of his strength. It was 10% more than before. Although it was only 10%, it was enough. Boom. Li Jun also opened his mouth and spat out a dragon's breath. The two dragons' breaths collided, and the air billowed. Chapter 1852. Has Li Jun's strength increased by a lot? Yi Xian thought to himself as he dodged quickly. However, he had only used his undying war soul and had not used the slaughter seal. Slaughter mode, activate. All three slaughter seals were used up by Yi Xian, increasing his combat strength by nearly 4 times. In total, it was almost 7 times stronger. Again, Black Dragon Flame Blast. Another jet Black Dragon's breath burst out. Rumble. Another collision of energy. However, this time, Yi Xian was at a disadvantage. What's going on? I was able to tie with him last time. Why am I at a disadvantage this time? Yi Xian was a little surprised. In the next moment, he thought of a possibility. He had seen a few life forms under Li Jun's clothes. I see. Did he sign a contract with some small immortal beasts and then fight together to increase his strength? Yi Xian immediately understood. He also had this skill. As long as the 5 old tree fought together, all 6 of them would receive a double boost. Although Li Jun only had the bloodline of the Imperial Beast Envoy, his bloodline was much more powerful than Yi Xian's, so the boost would definitely be more than double. If that's the case, I'll pretend to be weak first. Yi Xian narrowed his eyes slightly. This was a move called playing hard to get. He would pretend to be defeated, but when the opportunity came, he would amaze the world and kill Li Jun instantly. Ha ha ha, stinking brat, today is the day you die. Your bloodline and treasures are all mine. Li Jun laughed out loud and spat out another jet of dragon breath. Extreme Space Shield. Yi Xian quickly used his trump card and absorbed the dragon breath that had been greatly reduced by the Black Dragon Flame Blast. Then he returned it 3 times. Huff, huff, huff. Li Jun quickly dodged and said, "You're really good at accumulating points. I can't wait to kill you." Is that so? Yi Xian sneered and said, "Now I'll show you what true strength is." As soon as he finished speaking, a series of system notifications rang out in Yi Xian's mind. Ding. Host has made a breakthrough. Host is now a rank 6 true master. Ding. Inferno Ghostly Lord, World Annihilating Ghostly Dragon, Wei Zhentian, and Heaven-Breaking Divine Ape have all broken through. They are now first-grade half-step true monarchs. Finally he broke through. Although there was a difference of 1 realm between a rank 9 true sage and a rank 1 half-step true monarch, because it was a large realm, the increase was much greater than a normal breakthrough. Yi Xian and the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon improved together. After merging, their strength instantly increased exponentially. Li Jun, you're finished. Yi Xian widened his eyes and opened his mouth wide. What? Li Jun was shocked. He never thought that Yi Xian would suddenly become so powerful. Immediately, he activated his skills and prepared to flee. However, in the next moment, the Yi Xian in front of him suddenly disappeared and arrived behind him. This move was not the Eye of Assassination, but the teleportation of the space-time bloodline. Black Dragon Flame Blast. This attack landed accurately on the Black Dragon's body. This time, Li Jun was blasted into nothingness. It had to be said that Li Jun was very unlucky. He actually came before Yi Xian broke through. During the battle, Yi Xian just happened to break through and was able to kill Li Jun. Ding. Host's killing intent has increased. Ding. Host has killed the holder of the Divine Beast Envoy bloodline. Reward. Tower of Trials respawned. When Yi Xian heard the system notification, he was completely stunned. Tower of Trials respawned? F***CK. This reward is amazing. Yi Xian was shocked. Previously, he was still worried about how to respawn the Tower of Trials. Now, it had been refreshed. It's not a waste to be harassed by Li Jun so many times. I finally gained something. Yi Xian grinned and glanced at it. He realized that he could finally use the time reversal skill. However, before that, he had to clear the entire Tower of Trials. Alright, the last time I challenged the Tower of Trials, I had the Skyfire 3 Mystic Change skill. The current me will probably stop at the 6th level. If I want to go to the 7th level, I'll have to strengthen my bloodline. Yi Xian thought to himself. Then, he began to challenge the Tower of Trials. The first level was a level higher than Yi Xian's, a level 7 true master. This was not difficult for Yi Xian at all. The The second level was a level 8 True Master. The third level was a level 9 True Master. Soon, Yi Xian reached the 6th level. He was now a level 5 True Master. The guardian of the 6th level was 6 levels higher than him. He was a level 2 half-true monarch. This time, his opponent was a demonic cultivator. He was slightly stronger than an immortal cultivator. Unicorn Descend. Yi Xian immediately used his trump card and summoned a level 3 Ice Emperor Unicorn. Yi Xian hadn't used Unicorn Descend recently. However, this didn't mean that it wasn't useful. At least in the Tower of Trials, Yi Xian could use it as he pleased. After all, every time he cleared a level, the skill would be refreshed. The guardian of the 6th level still couldn't stop Yi Xian. However, Yi Xian still spent a lot of time dealing with him. The 7th level won't be that easy. I'll have to strengthen it. Yi Xian thought to himself. At this point, he already had 9 Devour points. He could use them to strengthen his bloodline. However, Devour points could be used in many ways. The Imperial Beast Envoy bloodline is useless in the Tower of Trials. Therefore I can use it to strengthen other bloodlines. This way, I'll be able to obtain Devour points after clearing the Tower of Trials. Yi Xian finally decided to use it to strengthen his immortal slaying bloodline after some thought. Ding! Slaughter Seal leveled up. Ding! Slaughter Seal leveled up. Ding! Slaughter Seal leveled up. Originally, the Slaughter Seal skill of the immortal slaying bloodline had only leveled up once. This time, Yi Xian directly leveled up the Slaughter Seal skill 3 times. After leveling up, the number of Slaughter Seals increased to 9. Moreover, it could be used 5 times a day. In addition, after each Slaughter Seal was activated, the Slaughter status would be increased by 8 times. Previously, it was only 2 times. If all 9 Slaughter Seals were used, it would increase his combat strength by 16 times. At the same time, the Immortal Slaying Puppet could also be summoned with 2, 4, 6, and 8 seals, increasing its combat strength. The Immortal Slaying Breath Slash that initially consumed 3 seals not only increased in power, but it could also be used 3 times in a row. The Immortal Slashing Arrow with 4 seals also increased in power, and the number of arrows increased to 5. As for the Immortal Slaying Sword formation with 5 seals, its power and range were increased. Moreover, after using it, it would automatically summon an Immortal Slaying Puppet with 8 seals to battle. These 3 Devour points were well spent. As such, there were only 6 Devour points left. Let's start the challenge first. Yi Xian did not waste any time and directly started to challenge the 7th level. After leveling up 3 times, the effect of the Slaughter Seal was very obvious. At the beginning, Yi Xian directly activated 5 Slaughter Seals, increasing his combat strength by 9 times. Chapter 1853. The 7th level was a success, and he gained another Devour point. Next up was the 8th level. However, the 8th level was not that easy to pass. There was a gap of 8 levels, and it was several times more difficult than the 7th level. Yi Xian was knocked down. The challenge was a failure. Forget it. I won't challenge the 8th and 9th levels for now. Yi Xian decided to give up on these 2 levels. After all, he could not always use the Devour points on himself. He had to rely on the monsters to survive. He thought for a moment and decided to use the Devour points to upgrade his Imperial Beast Messenger bloodline. The Imperial Beast Messenger bloodline was an evolution path, so it could be upgraded with just 1 Devour point. This time, Yi Xian upgraded it 3 times. After 3 evolutions, the Imperial Beast Messenger bloodline increased the monster's combat power from 1 time to 6 times, and its growth speed was also 6 times. In addition, every monster that appeared would increase the combat power of the master and the monster by 80%, which was 60% more than the previous 20% increase. 5 monsters, that was 4 times the increase. If I could summon monsters in the Tower of Trials, I could at least get to the 15th level. Yi Xian felt helpless in his heart. The 15th level was 15 Devour points, which could increase his combat power by several times. After so many evolutions, Yi Xian decided to save some Devour points for later use. However, at this time, Yi Xian suddenly remembered something. Oh right, that Li Jun had so many monsters. With the Imperial Beast Messenger bloodline's effect, his combat power has increased by a lot. I still have 5 minions, so I might as well keep 5 minions on me. This way, I can maintain a 4x increase in combat strength at any time. If Old Shu and the others come out, I can directly increase my combat strength by 8x. Yi Xian's eyes lit up at the thought. This Li Jun gave him experience points after his death. What a good guy! Yi Xian did not need to look for these decorative monsters. They could be found in the planting space. Coincidentally, there was a mini immortal beast called the golden silver striped snake. It was thinner than a finger and could be wrapped around his arm. Even if there were 5 of them, it would not affect anything. Ding! Master-servant contract successfully formed. Ding! The master-servant contract has been successfully formed. A series of notifications rang out in Yi Xian's mind. With every contract, Yi Xian felt his strength increase by 80%. He wasn't going to store these 5 silver-striped golden snakes in his space, so he could hang them on his wrist at any time. Then, Yi Xian summoned the old tree and the others. If 10 beasts attacked at the same time, one would increase his combat power by 80%, and 10 beasts would increase his combat power by 8 times. Yi Xian couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. If he had this boost, then he definitely wouldn't have any problems passing the 8th floor of the Tower of Trials. Round it up again. Yi Xian narrowed his eyes and upgraded the bloodline of the Divine Beast Envoy again. There were only 3 points left. Now, the amplification effect of a single behemoth was doubled, and 10 behemoths meant 10 times. Furthermore, Yi Xian was not the only one to enjoy this buff. Old Tree and the others also enjoyed this buff. At this moment, Yi Xian suddenly had a feeling that with the behemoths in hand, he could rule the world. In fact, he had forgotten that he could still tame 5 more behemoths. Otherwise, he would have already tamed them. At that time, he wouldn't have been chased by Li Jun so many times and let Li Jun escape so many times. Now that his behemoths were full, if he mobilized all of them, each of them would receive a 10-fold boost. If other factors were included, his combat power would be explosively strong. Previously, I was afraid that if I went to the Blood Flame Hall, my strength would be a bit lacking. Now that I can use time reversal, it's enough to save my life. Yi Xian thought to himself, then turned his head and looked into the distance. Previously, he had already used the death warrant to mark the Blood Flame Hall's envoy. Now that he had completed his mission, he might as well follow the envoy to the Blood Flame Hall. At that time, with the aptitude of the World Destroyer Ghost Dragon, obtaining a large number of World Destroyer Dragon Scales shouldn't be a problem. This way, Yi Xian would save a lot of trouble. The Blood Flame Hall's envoy was a 3rd-stage true monarch. In addition, he was carrying Qi Ming and the other 100 scale geniuses, so his speed wasn't very fast. Yi Xian estimated that he would be able to catch up to him in about 3 days. Don't forget, now that the Immortal Ascension steps had been upgraded to the 2nd level, and Wei Zhentian's strength had greatly increased as well, catching up to the Blood Flame Hall's envoy wouldn't be a problem. Immediately, he started to hurry on his way. After his strength skyrocketed, the black dragons he encountered along the way didn't pose a threat to Yi Xian at all, and they were easily annihilated. Unfortunately, the number of World Destroyer Ghost Dragon Scales was too large. From 300 to 400, it actually required 5,000. It seemed that in the future, not only would he have to kill dragons, but he would also have to snatch some. 3 days later. I've finally caught up to you. Yi Xian thought to himself as he looked at the death warrant's target in front of him. However, just as he was about to catch up, he suddenly heard a series of loud sounds coming from the horizon in front of him. Rumble! Someone was fighting. This movement isn't small. It's at least a battle between true monarchs. Yi Xian raised his eyebrows, suddenly feeling that something was wrong. Wasn't the Blood Flame Hall's envoy in front of him? Could it be that he was the one fighting? Thinking of this, Yi Xian quickened his pace. When he got closer, he found that there were 3 people surrounding the target of his death warrant. 3 3rd-stage true monarchs. As for the others, Yi Xian didn't see them, including the genius with 200 scales from the Qi family. Forget it, kill. Yi Xian didn't hesitate and directly summoned the old tree, the World Destroyer Ghost Dragon, and the other 2. They merged. Death warrant. Eye of assassination. In an instant, Yi Xian flashed behind a 3rd-stage true monarch. If it was before, even if Yi Xian merged with the World Destroyer Ghost Dragon, he probably wouldn't be able to fight against a 3rd-stage true monarch. But now, Yi Xian's immortal slaying bloodline had advanced a few times, and the Divine Beast Envoy's bloodline had also advanced a few times. The strength of the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon had greatly increased, and after fusing with it, its strength had increased explosively. World Destroyer Dragon Claw. Yi Xian flashed behind a person, grabbed with his claws, and directly crushed a person's body to the point of exploding. Pucci! When the other two heard this voice, they turned around one after another and saw an inconceivable scene. Their companion was killed in an instant. Before they could react, the World Destroyer Ghost Dragon opened its mouth wide. Black Dragon Flame Blast. Boom! Another person was killed by Yi Xian. As for the third person, he was targeted by the old tree, who was wearing a level 2 Mystic Divine armor. Bam! Although old tree's punch couldn't kill the other party, it was enough to injure him severely. Then, it was time for Yi Xian to end it. Boom! Chapter 1854. 3 rank 3 true monarchs had been killed by Yi Xian in such a short time. This kind of strength was enough to intimidate the Blood Flame Hall emissary. However, the Blood Flame Hall emissary was currently heavily injured, and blood was continuously flowing out of his chest. Yi Xian hurriedly rushed over and asked, "Senior, are you all right?" "So it's you." The middle-aged man recognized the world-destroying ghost dragon and also recognized Yi Xian's voice. He said weakly, "Thank you for this time. However, my demon heart was stabbed by the other party, and the damage is serious. I don't think I will live for long." "What?" Yi Xian hurriedly sensed and found that the middle-aged man was right. The latter's demon heart had been pierced, and he estimated that he would live for a few more minutes at most. If Yi Xian hadn't arrived in time, the middle-aged man would have lasted at most 10 seconds. Although he was very strong, the other 3 were all rank 3 true monarchs, and their battle strength wasn't weak. That was why he was heavily injured. The middle-aged man sighed and shook his head. "It's useless. These 3 are desperados. When they heard that I was a member of the Blood Flame Hall, they still attacked. Qi Ming and the others are already dead." Hearing this, Yi Xian quickly swept a glance and found that there were indeed the corpses of Qi Ming and the others. It seemed that they had been killed in the first place. At this time, what Yi Xian wanted to do the most was to reverse time so that he could hurry over. Although he had been rushing over at full speed, he still rested on the way. As long as he didn't stop, he would definitely be able to rush over. However, at this time, ding! Host has triggered a chain random mission. Head to the Blood Flame Hall. Suddenly, a system notification sounded in Yi Xian's mind. The system's mission actually appeared at this time. This meant that if Yi Xian used the time reversal skill, the mission would disappear. In fact, Yi Xian felt that when he transmigrated to this world, he had entered an online game. Those characters were actually NPCs. At this time, the middle-aged man in front of him was actually also an NPC. In that case, the system tacitly agreed to this matter. Although turning back time could save this middle-aged man, it was difficult for Yi Xian to give up on a chain of random quests. Yi Xian couldn't do that. After all, he had only met this middle-aged man once. Although the latter had given him the blood flame armor, it was useless. Moreover, he had allowed the middle-aged man to live a little longer. Wei Zhentian's previous chain of random missions had improved the form of his magic treasure. This had greatly improved Yi Xian's strength. Yi Xian was not that noble, so after weighing the pros and cons in his heart, he decided not to use time reversal. Of course, if the person who died was his family, he would definitely give up on the chain random mission. "Brat, did you come to find me because you've thought things through and want to enter the Blood Flame Hall first?" asked the middle-aged man. "Yes, senior." Yi Xian nodded solemnly. "Good, very good." The middle-aged man revealed a satisfied smile and said, "The geniuses I brought here have all died. Moreover, if I were to compare them to you, they wouldn't even amount to 1/10 of your strength. If you were to go to the Blood Flame Hall, you would definitely be able to grow into a super expert." After saying this, he took out a flame token from his Cosmos ring and handed it to Yi Xian. He said, "This is the Blood Flame token of the Blood Flame Hall. Take it and enter the Blood Flame Hall." Originally, he had to personally bring these geniuses to the Blood Flame Hall, but now that he was not far from death, he could only let Yi Xian go by himself. In order to prove the authenticity of the Blood Flame token, the middle-aged man took out a floating image crystal and recorded the current situation. He also left behind his last words. Brat, I'll leave this thing to you. With your strength, as long as nothing unexpected happens, you should be able to reach the Blood Flame Hall. After saying this, the middle-aged man handed the Cosmos ring to Yi Xian. Senior, I will definitely do it. Yi Xian nodded solemnly. When he said he would do it, he meant to bring back the middle-aged man's body because the middle-aged man's family was in the Blood Flame Hall. After that, the middle-aged man died because his immortal heart shattered, leaving only Yi Xian alive. As for the corpses of Qi Ming and the others, Yi Xian decided to return them to their families when he had time in the future. After the middle-aged man's death, Yi Xian checked his Cosmos ring and found that there were actually 2,000 World Annihilation Dragon Scales inside. 2,000 World Annihilation Dragon Scales were enough to increase the battle strength of the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon by 40%, which was very good. This time, the chain of random missions did not mention the reward in advance. It seems that the final reward will depend on how well I complete it. Thinking of this, Yi Xian immediately set off for the Blood Flame Hall. He estimated that with his current speed, it would take about 3 to 4 days to reach the Blood Flame Hall, and this was after he had broken through during this period. Several days later. Ding! Host has broken through. Currently, you are a 7th grade true sage. Ding! Inferno Ghostly Lord, World Annihilation Ghost Dragon, Wei Zhentian, and Sky-Breaking Ape God broke through and are now 2nd stage half-step true lords. 2 system notifications sounded. After breaking through, Yi Xian's strength skyrocketed, and his speed also increased by a lot. Ever since the middle-aged man's death, Yi Xian had not met anyone else, only the Black Dragon tribe and those dilapidated ruins. Soon, he arrived at the boundary of the Blood Flame Hall. The Blood Flame Hall was considered the overlord of this area. They had sent a large number of envoys to the surrounding areas to find geniuses who had fused with the World Annihilation Dragon Scales. However, at this time, for some reason, the Blood Flame Hall was not allowed to enter or leave. Those who were brought back by the envoys could only gather outside the Blood Flame Hall and wait for it to open. What's going on? What happened in the hall? Why is it closed? Something big must have happened. Otherwise it would not be closed. Just now, I saw someone in white enter the Blood Flame Hall. Could it be that person from the White Dragon Palace? What? The White Dragon Palace. The White Dragon Palace seems to hate people who have fused with the World Annihilation Dragon Scales the most. Could it be that they are here to destroy the Blood Flame Hall? What kind of joke is this? Now that the method to fuse with the World Annihilation Dragon Scales is almost public, even those who are not from the Black Dragon sect can fuse with it. If they want to kill, how many people would they have to kill? The surrounding people were discussing in low voices. After Yi Xian heard it, he felt that it made sense. Now that the method to fuse with the World Annihilation Dragon Scales was widely spread, even those who were not from the Black Dragon sect could fuse with it. This way, the White Dragon Palace would not be able to distinguish who was from the Black Dragon sect. The Black Dragon sect was really powerful. Yi Xian was among this group of people, waiting quietly. Although he had not fused with the World Annihilation Dragon Scales, he had the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon, and many people could tell that he was a beast tamer. However, at this time, a woman in red suddenly walked toward Yi Xian. Chapter 1855. Yi Xian sensed the aura and immediately turned around. He saw that the lady in red was staring at him. No, to be more precise, she was staring at the World Annihilation Ghostly Dragon. After the Azura Ghost Venerable evolved into the World Annihilation Ghostly Dragon, the Ghostly Dragon transformation had no time limit. Therefore, the World Annihilation Ghostly Dragon could switch between its dragon and human forms at will. At this moment, the World Annihilation Ghostly Dragon was in its Ghostly Dragon transformation form. The lady in red's eyes were fixed on the World Annihilation Ghostly Dragon. The look in her eyes was very unusual. Brat, I've taken a fancy to your dragon. How much do you want? The lady in red said to Yi Xian directly. No. Yi Xian said coldly. The lady in red paused for a moment and then said, What kind of contract did you make with it? A master and servant blood contract. Yi Xian replied again. A master and servant blood contract meant that if the servant died, the master would not be affected. However, if the master died, the servant would have to die with him. In the Bloodfire Hall, Yi Xian did not want to cause trouble for the time being. Therefore, it was a master and servant blood contract. The lady in red also understood that a master and servant blood contract meant that this dragon could not be obtained. Therefore she said, "Since that's the case, I'll borrow it for a while." Borrow? Yi Xian did not understand what this meant. However, when he saw the lady in red's eyes, he immediately understood. At this moment, the lady in red was actually staring at the World Annihilation Ghostly Dragon's dragon root. What the F***CK? Could this lady in red be thinking of reproducing with the World Annihilation Ghostly Dragon? What kind of joke was this? No way. Yi Xian's tone was as unyielding as ever. You're courting death. The lady in red widened her eyes. If not for the fact that Yi Xian and the World Annihilation Ghostly Dragon had signed a master and servant blood contract, she would have killed Yi Xian and taken the World Annihilation Ghostly Dragon away. A mere first-stage true monarch dares to show off in front of me? Yi Xian snorted in his heart. He had even killed 3 third-stage true monarchs, let alone a mere first-stage true monarch. At this moment, another person walked over. It was a young man. "Little sister, what's going on?" The young man couldn't help but ask when he saw the red-clothed woman and Yi Xian. "Brother, I want that black dragon," the woman in red said directly. Hearing those words, the young man narrowed his eyes as he tried to sense his surroundings. Indeed, the World Annihilation Ghostly Dragon was different from other black dragons. It probably possessed some kind of noble bloodline. "Which envoy brought you here?" the young man asked. "This doesn't seem to have anything to do with you?" Yi Xian raised his eyebrows. However, he felt that this youth was a little strong. He was actually a third-stage true monarch. Haha, now that the Blood Flame Hall is recruiting people, they must be personally brought in by the emissary. You don't have anyone to lead you. Could it be that you want to fish in troubled waters and join the Blood Flame Hall? The young man laughed coldly, and then he withdrew a command token from his Cosmos ring and said, "Unfortunately, I'm an emissary of the Blood Flame Hall as well. If you don't have an emissary to lead you, then I advise you to surrender." "Who said I didn't? I was brought here by Master Jiabwa Yuan," Yi Xian said. Jiabwa Yuan was the middle-aged man's name. Jiabwa Yuan? Hearing those words, the young man paused for a moment. He knew that person too well. They had many conflicts. "Where is he?" the young man asked. "He left because he had something to do. He'll be back soon," Yi Xian replied. After hearing that, the young man didn't say anything else. He said, "Sister, let's go." "Brother, you..." The red-clothed woman didn't expect that the young man wouldn't help her. What was going on? "Don't worry. That Jiabwa Yuan has a powerful background. After he enters the Blood Flame Hall, I'll find an opportunity to help you get your dragon." The young man transmitted his voice to the red-clothed woman. Just now, the red-clothed woman had also heard some things from the conversation between Yi Xian and her brother. Yi Xian was brought here by someone, so this wasn't a good time to make a move. Humph! The red-clothed woman coldly snorted, and after glancing at the World Annihilation Ghostly Dragon, she turned around and left. Looking at the backs of the two people, Yi Xian narrowed his eyes. He knew those two people. After Jiabwa Yuan died, the soul-sucking bell had searched his memories. The young man was also an envoy of the Blood Flame Hall. His name was Jiang Xingjuan. As for the red-clothed woman, she was Jiang Xingjuan's younger sister, Jiang Xingwen. These two people were the grandson and granddaughter of Elder Jiang of the Blood Flame Hall. As for Jiabwa Yuan, he was the grandson of Elder Jiang of the Blood Flame Hall. Although Jiang Xingjuan was a third-stage true monarch, Yi Xian wasn't afraid of him. After all, Yi Xian had killed 3 third-stage true monarchs. However, he didn't want to cause trouble at the entrance of the Blood Flame Hall. After Jiang Xingjuan and Jiang Xingwen left, several people suddenly walked out of the Blood Flame Hall. All of them were wearing white clothes, and their auras were extremely powerful. They were most likely high-level true monarchs. White Dragon Hall. As expected, they're from the White Dragon Hall. Our Blood Flame Hall is only recruiting people who have fused with the World Annihilation Dragon Scale. We're not a branch of the Black Dragon sect. The White Dragon Hall can't do anything to us. That's right. Now that the people from the White Dragon Hall have left, doesn't that mean that we can enter? The group of people started to get excited. They were all geniuses from their respective sections. The Blood Flame Hall had reformed its recruitment process. They only accepted elites and didn't want trash. Therefore, the current requirement was to fuse with at least 200 World Annihilation Dragon Scales before they could join. Alright, everyone, come in. After the people from the White Dragon Hall left, an expert from the Bloodflame Hall immediately invited the near 1,000 people outside to enter the Bloodflame Hall. Yi Xian also mixed in with the crowd and walked in. Among these people, there were many envoys from the Bloodflame Hall. Their strength was between 3rd stage True Monarch and 5th stage True Monarch. With them here, the geniuses they found could join the Bloodflame Hall without needing to be tested. Apart from these people, there were also some people who came because of its reputation. They needed to be tested. What about you? Who's your guide? At this time, the gaze of an old man wearing blood flame armor fell on Yi Xian. So powerful. He's most likely a high-level True Monarch. Yi Xian sensed the other party's aura and said, I was brought here by Lord Jiabuiyuan. However, Lord Jiabuiyuan died midway. What? Jiabuiyuan died? When the old man heard this, he was shocked. The others were the same. They didn't understand. If the guide was dead, how could he still be alive? Not far away, when Jiang Xingjuan and Jiang Xingwen heard this, they couldn't help but be startled. Yi Xian actually dared to lie to them? Yi Xian subconsciously glanced at the two of them and said, This is Lord Jiabuiyuan's corpse and the floating image crystal he recorded before he died. When the old man took the floating image crystal and looked at it, he was shocked again. Jiabuiyuan was actually really dead. Chapter 1856. This, the old man sighed and said, Stand aside for now. The floating image crystal could prove that Yi Xian was telling the truth. After all, even the old man himself couldn't forge a floating image crystal. On the other side, Jiang Xingjuan was slightly regretful after learning about Jiabuiyuan's death. If he had known this would happen, he would have taken action outside. At that time, no one would know that Jiabuiyuan was dead and Yi Xian, who had no background, would have been taken down by him. Then, the others continued to verify while the old man used his messaging crystal to send a message to Elder Jia. Boy, even though Jiabuiyuan chose you, don't you think your strength is a bit too low? The old man asked casually. Boy, you're a beast tamer. My pet has already fused with 200 World Annihilation Dragon Scales, said Yi Xian directly. What? A second stage half-step True Monarch has already fused with 200 World Annihilation Dragon Scales? The old man stared at the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon in astonishment. Even a black dragon Zooist who grew up in the Bloodfire Hall wouldn't be able to fuse with 300 World Annihilation Dragon Scales so easily when he was still a second stage half-step True Monarch. However, Yi Xian's black dragon unexpectedly did it. Good. Jiabuiyuan has brought back a good seedling for us this time. The old man was very satisfied. Soon, a person arrived at the entrance of the Blood Flame Hall. He looked like an old man. Where's Buiyuan's body? The old man asked directly. Hearing this, Yi Xian immediately handed over the interspatial ring with Jiabuiyuan's body. Alas, what a bad fate. The old man sighed and shook his head. Yi Xian knew this man. He was Jiabuiyuan's father, Jia Yuanjing. After all, Yi Xian had searched Jiabuiyuan's body before. Secondly, Jiabuiyuan had already sent a message to his father, grandfather, and other relatives before his death. Therefore they had already known about it. Then, Jia Yuanjing turned to Yi Xian and said, You should be Yi Xian. Come with me. Yes. Yi Xian nodded slightly and left with Jia Yuanjing. As Jiang Xingjuan and Jiang Xingwen watched Yi Xian leave, they couldn't help but communicate via voice transmission. Brother, that black dragon definitely has a noble bloodline. It's only a second stage half-step True Monarch, yet it has fused with 200 world-destroying dragon scales. I must get it. Don't worry, little sister. How many geniuses die prematurely? As long as he enters the blood flame hole, killing him will be as easy as killing an ant. Yi Xian followed Jia Yuanjing and left. On the way, the latter couldn't help but ask, Yi Xian, I heard from Buiyuan that this toy of yours can fight against a third stage True Monarch? Yes, Senior. Yi Xian replied telepathically. A second stage half-step True Monarch can fight against a third stage True Monarch. That's a gap of 10 realms. This is simply. Jia Yuanjing didn't know what words to use to describe the world-destroying ghost dragon. This matter was left behind by Jiabuiyuan before his death. Therefore, Jia Yuanjing didn't say it out loud and only used voice transmission. Such a good seedling naturally had to be hidden. Who knew what would happen if others found out about it? Although Jia Yuanjing didn't believe it, he believed it when he thought about how Jia Buiyuan had confirmed it with his death. After a while, Jia Yuanjing brought Yi Xian to see his father, one of the Blood Flame Hall's guardian elders, Jia Xingtian. There were only 5 hall protector elders in the Blood Flame Hall. They were a rank higher than ordinary elders. "Father, they're here." Jia Yuanjing brought Yi Xian to a room and said to the old man who had his back facing the two. The old man turned around after hearing this. "Did you bring back Buiyuan's corpse?" Jia Xingtian asked. "I brought it back. I'll bury it in a moment." Jia Yuanjing nodded. "Good." Jia Xingtian sighed and said, "Young man, before Buiyuan died, he said that you saved his life. At that time you fought 1 against 3. Moreover, the 3 of them were 3rd-stage true monarchs. How did you do it?" At that time, Jia Buiyuan didn't mention Yi Xian's realm. In fact, the world-destroying ghost dragon was only a 1st-stage half-step true monarch at that time. Now that he had broken through to the 2nd-stage half-step true monarch, Jia Xingtian and Jia Yuanjing thought that he had only fought 10 realms above him. However, this was already shocking enough. "It's very simple. My black dragon has already fused with 500 world-destroying dragon scales." Yi Xian replied directly. "What?" Jia Xingtian and Jia Yuanjing were both shocked. 500 world-destroying dragon scales? How was this possible? That's impossible. Even I have only passed the threshold of 500 world-destroying dragon scales. Jia Xingtian didn't dare to believe it. Who was he? He was an 8th-stage true monarch expert, but he had only fused with 500 world-destroying dragon scales. How could a 2nd-stage half-step true monarch world-destroying ghost dragon have fused with so many world-destroying dragon scales? Jia Yuanjing immediately took out a crystal. This was a tool to verify the number of world-destroying dragon scales that had been fused with the world-destroying dragon scales. Yi Xian gave the world-destroying ghost dragon a test. The crystal shone for a long time. "It's really over 500 world-destroying dragon scales. This is incredible. Buiyuan has made a great contribution this time." Jia Xingtian's eyes widened. In fact, if they took out the crystal to test 1,000 world-destroying dragon scales, they would also succeed. This was because the world-destroying ghost dragon had already fused with far more world-destroying dragon scales. Even in the Bloodfire Hall, it was impossible to have a half-step true monarch with 500 world-destroying dragon scales. If the world-destroying ghost dragon grew up, it would be a monster. I'm afraid our branch won't be able to accommodate such a talent. Yuanjing, take him to rest first. Remember not to let anyone know about this." Jia Xingtian said. "Yes." Jia Yuanjing nodded. Before he left, Jia Xingtian said again, "Here are 1,000 world-destroying dragon scales. It's your reward for bringing back Buiyuan's body. As for the other 4,000 world-destroying dragon scales, you can take them." "Thank you, Senior." Yi Xian was overjoyed to receive 5,000 world-destroying dragon scales. This was great. In fact, the world-destroying dragon scales were too many. After all, Jia Xingtian only thought that the world-destroying ghost dragon had fused with 500 world-destroying dragon scales. 5,000 world-destroying dragon scales was enough to last the world-destroying ghost dragon for a lifetime. Coincidentally, these 5,000 world-destroying dragon scales could increase the world-destroying ghost dragon's strength to the 5th level. At the same time, Yi Xian also knew that Jia Xingtian was sucking up to him now. When he arrived at the Bloodfire Hall, he would definitely be heavily groomed. At that time, he would definitely not forget about Jia Xingtian. Following that, Jia Yuanjing brought Yi Xian to live near his residence. Due to Yi Xian's special situation, it wasn't good for him to send someone to protect him. Otherwise, it would arouse the suspicion of others. Chapter 1857. At that moment, Yi Xian ordered the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon to start fusing with the World Destroyer Dragon Scales. The World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon fusing with the World Destroyer Dragon Scales was a little slow in the beginning. However, after a few thousand of them were fused, the speed increased. In just a few moments, all 5,000 World Destroyer Dragon Scales had been fused. At this point, he had already obtained a 4-fold increase in strength and had entered the 5th stage. The 5th stage required 100 World Destroyer Dragon Scales to increase his strength by 1 point. In other words, He needed 10,000 World Destroyer Dragon Scales. Yi Xian was unable to obtain so many for the time being. That night. Brother, after that guy was taken away, they didn't bother with him. He must have lied about his strength. Why don't we do it tonight? Jiang Xingwen said to Jiang Xingjuan. I think so. Jiang Xingjuan nodded and decided to do it. With his status in the Bloodfire Hall, it was easy for him to take someone away. Moreover, he wasn't going to kill Yi Xian. He was just going to take him away. Thinking of this, Jiang Xingjuan arrived outside Yi Xian's residence. Knock, knock, knock. Hearing the sound, Yi Xian paused. In fact, he had already sensed Jiang Xingjuan's aura. This guy is here again. Yi Xian thought to himself. However, he still went to open the door. Kid, we're just borrowing your black dragon. It's not like we want to kill you. I only need 1 day and I'll give you 10 World Destroyer Dragon Scales. What do you think? Jiang Xingjuan asked. If Yi Xian hadn't brought back Jiabui Yuan's corpse, he would have used force. Sorry, I don't need these 10 World Destroyer Dragon Scales. Yi Xian rejected directly. 10 World Destroyer Dragon Scales? Did he think he was a beggar? If he wanted to use the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon, he would need at least 10,000. You're courting death. Jiang Xingjuan's eyes flashed with killing intent. A mere half-step true lord dared to reject him time and time again. This was a challenge to his authority. Since that was the case, he was going to do it for real. Slap. Jiang Xingjuan slapped Yi Xian's shoulder. That strong hand made Yi Xian unable to move. Fine, then I'll go with you. Yi Xian narrowed his eyes. Actually, he wasn't afraid of Jiang Xingjuan. He just found him annoying. Why don't we settle this once and for all? At that moment, Yi Xian left with Jiang Xingjuan. Jiang Xingjuan secretly took Yi Xian out of the Bloodfire Hall and found Jiang Xingwen. Jiang Xingwen's eyes lit up when she saw Yi Xian. Where's that black dragon of yours? Do what? Yi Xian asked. I'm going to F*CK it, not you. Why are you in such a hurry? Jiang Xingwen's expression turned cold. She was thinking that if she was forced into a corner, she would directly chop up Yi Xian's penis. At this moment, the corners of Yi Xian's mouth suddenly curled up as he said, Haha, do you know why I'm here this time? Didn't they compromise? Jiang Xingwen narrowed her eyes. Of course not. Yi Xian shook his head. Then, the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon appeared beside him. Jiang Xingwen's expression changed when she saw this. Yi Xian said no, but he summoned the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon. What was he trying to do? Even Jiang Xingjuan didn't know. But in the next moment they knew. World Devastator Ghostly Dragon, merge. Instantly, Yi Xian merged with the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon's body like a spirit. Then, his aura skyrocketed. What? Jiang Xingjuan and Jiang Xingwen were shocked. Their cultivation levels were much higher than Yi Xian's, but they couldn't see how Yi Xian did it. I've come with you today to get rid of you. Dang! Yi Xian's eyes widened. He reached out his claws and grabbed Jiang Xingjuan and Jiang Xingwen. The 5 slaughter seals had already been activated. 1 seal could increase one's strength by 8 times. 5 seals would increase one's strength by 9 times. In addition to the undying fighting souls 3 times, it would increase one's strength by 12 times. Poof! Crack! Following 2 sounds, Jiang Xingjuan and Jiang Xingwen's bodies exploded, and they died on the spot. Jiang Xingwen, 1st stage True Monarch. Jiang Xingjuan, 3rd stage True Monarch. However, they were killed by Yi Xian, a 7th stage True Monarch. One had to know that they had crossed more than a dozen realms. You overestimate yourselves. Yi Xian snorted and put away the 2 corpses and the interspatial rings. There were still 1,000 World Devastator Dragon Scales in the interspatial rings of the 2 siblings. It was not bad. Then, Yi Xian quickly disintegrated and broke through the void to return to the Bloodfire Hall. The problem was solved. However, Jiang Xingjuan and Jiang Xingwen were the grandson and granddaughter of the Bloodfire Hall's guardian elder. Moreover, the guards had seen him and Jiang Xingjuan leaving the Bloodfire Hall together. When the time came, they would definitely ask. As expected, not long after Yi Xian returned, someone immediately arrived at his residence. No, it should be said that they trespassed and directly came to Yi Xian. You are Yi Xian? A middle-aged man asked Yi Xian. Yi Xian sensed and found that the other party was at least a high-level true monarch. He hurriedly nodded and said, Yi Xian greets Senior. Did you and my son, Jiang Xingjuan, leave the Bloodfire Hall together? The middle-aged man asked. This middle-aged man was Jiang Xingjuan's father, an ordinary elder of the Bloodfire Hall, Jiang Yang. Senior, I did not. Yi Xian directly shook his head. Nonsense. Jiang Yang said with a cold expression. I just asked around. The guard said that you and Jiang Xingjuan left the Bloodfire Hall together. You still want to quibble? In fact, when the other party came, Yi Xian already knew that the Jiang family should have known about Jiang Xingjuan and Jiang Xingwen's deaths. After all, there was something called the life tablet. If Jiang Xingjuan and Jiang Xingwen died, then the life tablet would shatter. That was why the Jiang family knew about it. After asking around, they would quickly find out. Then, Senior, can you find that person and confront him? Yi Xian asked. Confront what? How did Jiang Xingjuan and Jiang Xingwen die? Speak. Jiang Yang opened his eyes wide. He looked as though he wanted to skin Yi Xian alive and drink his blood. At this time, a gust of wind suddenly blew in the room. Yi Xian looked carefully and found that it was Jia Yuanjing who had hurried over. Elder Jiang, why have you come to the room of a junior so late at night? Jia Yuanjing narrowed his eyes and said. Humph. This brat left the Bloodfire Hall together with Jiang Xingjuan. Then, Jiang Xingjuan's life tablet shattered. I suspect that he set a trap and killed my son. Jiang Yang said. Yi Xian was only a rank 7 true monarch. His strength was extremely low. Thus, it was impossible for him to have killed Jiang Xingjuan. The reason why Jia Yuanjing came over was that he had heard about Jiang Xingjuan and Jiang Xingwen's deaths. Moreover, he knew that Yi Xian had the strength to kill a rank 3 true monarch. Thus, after hearing this, he couldn't help but feel suspicious. Chapter 1858. I heard that this brat had a conflict with my son and daughter before he entered the Bloodfire Hall. Jiang Yang said sternly. It was just a small conflict. I heard about it too, but it wasn't to the extent of killing. Besides, how did he know a perfected lord expert? Jia Yuanjing continued to defend Yi Xian. Jiang Yang couldn't help but look at Jia Yuanjing. Yi Xian didn't know him, but what about Jia Yuanjing? Could this be a scheme by Jia Xingtian and Jia Yuanjing? Jia Buiyuan was dead, so Jia Xingtian and Jia Yuanjing were targeting Jiang Xingjuan and Jiang Xingwen? Jiang Yang felt that something was amiss. Yi Xian was just a lowly disciple of the Bloodfire Hall. Was there a need for Jia Yuanjing to personally defend Yi Xian? Something was wrong. However, he didn't think that the world destroyer Ghostly Dragon was too talented. Instead, he thought that this was a scheme by Jia Yuanjing or Jia Xingtian. I won't waste time. I'm going to search his soul. Then the truth will be revealed. Jiang Yang stepped forward and prepared to search Yi Xian's soul. Seeing this, Jia Yuanjing naturally stood in front of Yi Xian. Elder Jia, could this be your doing? Jiang Yang's eyes widened as he asked sternly. Elder Jiang, don't slander me. You can't blame your son's death on me. Jia Yuanjing glanced at Yi Xian and said, Why don't we ask the Hall Master for justice? Hall Master? Jiang Yang nodded immediately. The Hall Master would definitely investigate thoroughly once he found out that his son and daughter had died. Then the truth would be revealed. However, what he didn't know was that Jia Yuanjing and Yi Xian had already communicated privately. Yi Xian was blunt about killing Jiang Xingjuan and Jiang Xingwen. Moreover, Jia Xingtian had already reported Yi Xian's matter to the Hall Master. The Hall Master would definitely suppress this matter for Yi Xian's sake. Jiang Yang, Jia Yuanjing, and Yi Xian immediately went to look for the Hall Master of the Bloodflame Hall. The Hall Master of the Bloodflame Hall, Huaming, was a rank 9 true monarch. Furthermore, he had fused with nearly 600 world destruction dragon scales. At that moment, there were two figures beside Huaming. They were Jia Xingtian and Jiang Yang's father, Jiang Tai. What the hell is going on? Huaming asked as soon as he saw everyone. Hallmaster, it's like this. Tonight, my son and this brat left the Bloodflame Hall together. After that, my son and daughter's life tablets shattered. I suspect that they set a trap to harm my son and daughter. Jiang Yang immediately reported. Them? Hua Ming narrowed his eyes and glanced at Jia Yuanjing and Jia Xingtian. Jia Xingtian immediately said, "Elder Jiang, if you don't have evidence, don't talk nonsense." Jiang Yang is only talking about them. Could it be that Elder Jia has a guilty conscience? Jiang Tai narrowed his eyes and said, "Guilty? Why would I be guilty?" Jia Xingtian grinned and said, "I also have some understanding of the situation. Why don't we call those guarding disciples over and see if they saw Yi Xian and Jiang Xingjuan leave the Blood Flame Hall together?" "All right, I've already called them over." Jiang Tai waved his hand. Not long after, 4 guarding disciples walked in. These 4 people were all true monarchs. One of them was even a rank 2 true monarch. "Greetings, Hall Master, elders." The 4 people timidly walked in and respectfully said. Hua Ming didn't beat around the bush and directly said, "Just now, did you really see Jiang Xingjuan and this youngster leave the Blood Flame Hall together?" "This?" The 4 people glanced at each other. Soon after, a narrow-eyed disciple said, "We didn't see anything. We only saw senior brother Jiang leave alone." "What?" The moment these words came out, Jiang Yang and Jiang Tai were both stunned. Just now, what they heard wasn't this. These 4 people clearly said that they saw Jiang Xingjuan and Yi Xian leave together with their own eyes. "Haha, now the truth is out, right?" Jia Xingtian laughed and said, "Elder Jiang, could it be that you're looking for trouble?" Jiang Tai pointed at Jia Xingtian in astonishment. He immediately understood that these 4 people should have been bribed by Jia Xingtian. Thus, he immediately cupped his fists and said, "Hall Master, I want to search the souls of these 4 disciples." "Search the souls." Once these words came out, the 4 disciples trembled. If they were to search the souls of these 4 people, wouldn't this matter be exposed? Searching the souls of these 4 disciples can't be done so casually. If there's a mistake, these 4 disciples will be destroyed. "How about this? Let me do it personally," Blood Flame Hall Master said. With Hall Master taking action, there won't be a problem. Jiang Tai didn't have any doubts and directly nodded in agreement. Then, Hua Ming began to search the souls of these 4 disciples one by one. In less than half a minute, the soul search was completed. Then he shook his head and said, "What they said is true. They really only saw Jiang Xingwen and Jiang Xingjuan leave the Blood Flame Hall alone." "What? That's impossible." Jiang Tai and Jiang Yang were shocked. This wasn't what they had heard before. "Elder Jiang, why don't you do it yourself? Of course, if there's an accident, you'll have to compensate the 4 of them," Hua Ming said. "All right." Jiang Tai immediately agreed. With his ability, compensating 4 disciples of first and second stage true monarchs was extremely easy for him. Then, he quickly flashed in front of the 4 and began to search their souls one by one. However, as time passed, his expression gradually became unsightly. This was because he saw that these 4 disciples didn't see Yi Xian leave. They only saw Jiang Xingwen and Jiang Xingjuan leave the Blood Flame Hall alone. Then, why did these 4 disciples lie to Jiang Yang just now? "Elder Jiang, I'm afraid the matter of your grandson and granddaughter's death isn't that simple. These 4 disciples actually dared to lie to you. Someone must have ordered them to do so. Why don't we detain these 4 first and then investigate?" Jia Xingtian suggested. Jiang Tai's expression was gloomy, but he didn't say anything. Just now, when he had searched the souls of these 4 disciples, he didn't know why they chose to lie to him and say that Yi Xian and Jiang Xingjuan left the Blood Flame Hall together. This was indeed something that needed to be questioned properly. "Hall Master, I hope that you can let me deal with these 4 disciples." Jiang Tai said to Hua Ming. Deceiving an elder and framing others should be punished indeed. "Elder Jiang Tai, do as you wish." Hua Ming nodded. Then Jiang Tai and Jiang Yang left with the 4 disciples, leaving Hua Ming, Jia Xingtian, Jia Yuanjing, and Yi Xian behind. "Hall Master, thank you very much." After Jiang Tai and Jiang Yang left, Jia Xingtian hurriedly said, "It's no harm. It's the Blood Flame Hall's great fortune that Jia Buiyuan was able to find such a genius. It's worth it to lose a few people." Chapter 1859. In fact, during the soul search, Hua Ming had already controlled the 4 disciples and tampered with their memories. That was why Jiang Tai did not see Yi Xian during the soul search. Elder Jiang Tai did not suspect Hall Leader Hua Ming because he thought Hall Leader Hua Ming was fair and just. However, He did not expect hall leader Hua Ming to collude with Jia Xingtian and Jia Yuanjing because of Yi Xian. Thank you, hall leader. After thanking hall leader Hua Ming, Yi Xian took out Jiang Xingwen and Jiang Xingjuan's corpses. Amazing! Hall leader Hua Ming nodded in satisfaction and said, however, you were too careless. If I did not cover for you, you would have been caught by Elder Jiang Tai. You're right, hall leader. Yi Xian hurriedly said. In fact, he was not afraid. After all, he had the time reversal skill. At most, he would return to the time before he arrived at the Blood Flame Hall. You should go back first. Don't wander around. I have reported your matter to the main hall. The main hall was very happy when they heard about it. After I plan carefully, I will send you to the main hall. Hua Ming said. Thank you, hall leader. Yi Xian thanked Hua Ming again. After that, he left and returned to his residence. Originally, he wanted to use the time reversal skill to find a good opportunity to kill Jiang Xingjuan and Jiang Xingwen. At least, he could not let the 4 disciples see him. He could still do it. After all, he had the eyes of the void. However, he felt that Elder Jiang Tai and Elder Jiang Yang would not let him off so easily. Father, this is too strange. On the way back, Jiang Yang could not help but send a voice transmission to Jiang Tai. Did you personally ask him just now? Jiang Tai asked through voice transmission. Yes. The 4 of them said that they saw Xingjuan and Yi Xian leave the Blood Flame Hall together. Jiang Yang nodded solemnly. That's strange. Jiang Tai narrowed his eyes and decided to bring the 4 of them back for questioning first. However, no matter what method he used, the confessions of these 4 people were still the same as before. There was no change at all. A thought suddenly occurred to Jiang Yang, and he asked tentatively, Father, could it be that the sect master? You're saying that the hall master deliberately searched his own soul first, and then tampered with the memories of the 4 of them? He's intentionally shielding them? Jiang Tai immediately understood. It's possible. Jiang Yang nodded. However, the hall master has been in office for so long and has always separated public from private matters. He has never interfered in the conflict between Jia Xingtian and me. Why is it that this time? Jiang Tai could not understand. Perhaps they have already colluded together and are preparing to drive father out of the Blood Flame Hall. Jiang Yang said, no matter what, let's investigate first. If it's really the hall master behind this, then don't blame me for being heartless. Killing intent flashed in Jiang Tai's eyes. In the next 2 days, Yi Xian stayed in the Bloody Fire Hall. During this time, he had also broken through from rank 7 True Sage to rank 8 True Sage. Yan Ming Ghostly Lord, World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon, Wei Zhentian, Heaven-Breaking Ape God, and the others had also reached rank 3 half-step True Lords. Then, he heard Jia Xingtian's voice transmission. Yi Xian, I will escort you to the main hall tomorrow. Hearing this, Yi Xian's eyes lit up. Was he finally going to move? He had already made a plan. As long as he reached the main hall, he would let the World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon examine 1,000 scales. At that time, he would definitely amaze the world. Then, he would ask for a large amount of World Destroyer Dragon Scales or World Destroyer Dragon Bones to increase his strength. Soon, the next day arrived. When the second day arrived, Jia Xingtian had already arrived at Yi Xian's residence and brought Yi Xian out of the Blood Flame Hall. It was said that the main hall of the Blood Flame Hall had also sent a rank 9 True Lord expert to receive them. Jia Xingtian's mission was to send Yi Xian to this expert. Jia Xingtian left in a rather secretive manner. However, Jiang Tai could still sense an rank 8 True Lord leaving the Blood Flame Hall. Hua Ming, Jia Xingtian, you killed my grandson and granddaughter. This grudge must be avenged. Jiang Tai thought to himself as he looked at Jia Xingtian's departing figure. Although he did not understand why Jia Xingtian brought Yi Xian away, he had already attributed the deaths of Jiang Xingjuan and Jiang Xingwen to Jia Xingtian. As for the Blood Flame Hall branch leader, Hua Ming, he was covering up for Jia Xingtian. Therefore, this was a good opportunity for Jia Xingtian to leave the Blood Flame Hall. However, Jia Xingtian did not know that he had already been included in the list of people who must be killed. Yi Xian, when you reach the main hall, don't forget about our branch hall if you succeed in the future. On the way, Jia Xingtian could not help but say to Yi Xian, Senior, don't worry. This junior will definitely not forget, Yi Xian said solemnly. Previously, Jia Xingtian had given him 5,000 World Destroyer Dragon Scales. In the future, when he grew stronger, it would not be a problem for him to give Jia Xingtian 50,000 World Destroyer Dragon Scales. That's good. Jia Xingtian nodded in satisfaction. However, less than half a day after they left the Blood Flame Hall, several figures rushed over from the horizon. Their auras are not weak. They are at least 7th-stage true monarchs, and there are even 2 8th-stage true monarchs. Jia Xingtian narrowed his eyes. After sensing these auras, he deliberately brought Yi Xian to a different direction. However, he did not expect that these people would also change direction. It seemed that these people were coming for them. Be careful. I'm afraid they don't have good intentions. Jia Xingtian hurriedly reminded. Yi Xian also raised his guard. After all, with his current strength, he was unable to help Jia Xingtian. Everyone, what's the matter? When the other party approached, Jia Xingtian could not help but ask. We've been asked to kill you. The 8th-stage true monarch in the lead did not say anything and directly attacked. The 4 7th-stage true monarchs behind him did the same. They were determined to kill Jia Xingtian. Shameless boasting. This old man has not fought for many years. Don't think that I'm a sick cat. Jia Xingtian shouted angrily and directly transformed into a majestic black dragon. Moreover, he was a black-winged demonic dragon of the black dragon race. His bloodline was more noble than that of ordinary black dragons. Among these 5 people, the 4 7th-stage true monarchs were humans. Only the 8th-stage true monarch in the lead was a black dragon. However, they had the advantage in numbers. Because Yi Xian's cultivation was too low, they could not arouse any interest in him, so they left him to the side. I can't participate in a battle of this level, but I can help. Yi Xian thought in his heart and transmitted a message to Jia Xingtian. If he wanted to fight this battle easily, he had to use the Myriad Beasts diagram. There's actually such a treasure? Fine, I'll give it a try. After hearing Yi Xian's transmission, Jia Xingtian immediately pulled away from the other party and transformed into his human form. Chapter 1860. Myriad Beasts Diagram, Suppress him. Yi Xian opened his eyes wide. In the next moment, the strength of the black dragon in the form of the leader decreased by 60%. If the Myriad Beasts diagram was only at level 1, it might not be able to suppress him. But now that Wei Zhentian's treasure had evolved, the Myriad Beasts diagram was a level 2 treasure. It was enough to suppress the opponent. What? The black dragon was frightened. Why did his speed decrease all of a sudden? Haha, good chance. Jia Xingtian grinned and quickly rushed over to kill. Originally, the opponent's strength was already 30% weaker than his. Now, it was reduced by 60%. In his eyes, the opponent was no different from a 7th-stage true monarch. Kill! Jia Xingtian instantly accelerated and flashed in front of the opponent. Then, he punched and directly penetrated the opponent's chest, exploding his dragon heart. Instant kill. The Myriad Beasts diagram reduced all attributes. Apart from speed, it also reduced defense, attack, and so on. Therefore, Jia Xingtian was able to instantly kill the opponent. When the other 4 saw this, they were shocked and immediately turned around to leave. Want to leave? Stay here. Jia Xingtian opened his eyes wide and attacked again. Only 4 7th-stage true monarchs, and they were still humans. Naturally, they were unable to fight against him, even if they joined hands. However, Jia Xingtian was now in his human form. His strength was too weak compared to his main body. Only 2 7th-stage true monarchs were left behind. Yi Xian, this treasure of yours is too heaven-defying. If I had this treasure, I would be able to fight against a 9th-stage true monarch. Jia Xingtian couldn't help but say. Yi Xian just smiled indifferently and didn't say anything. Then, Jia Xingtian didn't waste time and directly threw the spatial rings of the 2 7th-stage true monarchs to Yi Xian. Then, he took the spatial rings of the 8th-stage true monarch. I wonder who sent these 5 people to kill me. It seems that I have to search their souls. Jia Xingtian stared at the corpses and slowly said, Senior, let me do it. I have a treasure that can search their souls. After saying that, Yi Xian put the corpses of the 2 7th-stage true monarchs into the planting space. Then, he used the soul-sucking bell transformed by Wei Zhentian to search their souls. The flow of time in the planting space was very slow. In less than a second, Yi Xian was done. So it's him. Yi Xian narrowed his eyes and took out a floating image crystal. When Jia Xingtian saw the picture on the floating image crystal, his killing intent suddenly erupted. That bastard Jiang Tai, he actually entrusted others to kill me. Jia Xingtian was furious. This scene was something that Yi Xian had extracted from the souls of the two corpses of the 7th-stage true monarchs using the soul-absorbing bell. This was the new effect of the soul-absorbing bell after it had advanced in rank. With this, Jiang Tai was dead for sure. Senior, why don't we go back first and kill that Jiang Tai? Yi Xian suggested. All right. In any case, the main hall's envoy will come to the branch hall. We can't let Jiang Tai escape. Jia Xingtian nodded. Soon after, he brought Yi Xian back to the Bloodflame Hall branch hall. After half a day, Jia Xingtian and Yi Xian returned to the Bloodflame Hall branch. After sensing their auras, Jia Yuanjing couldn't help but ask, "Father, why did you come back?" That bastard Jiang Tai actually entrusted someone to ambush and kill me midway, and he almost succeeded. Jia Xingtian couldn't help but say. On the way back, he had already sent a message to the Bloodflame Hall branch's hall master Hua Ming. However, Hua Ming said that Jiang Tai and Jiang Yang weren't in the Bloodflame Hall. The majority of the Jiang family members are. Jia Xingtian sensed for a moment. Since that was the case, Jiang Tai shouldn't have run away. However, Yi Xian felt that something was wrong. Sure enough, after he had this thought, Jia Xingtian's expression changed. "Father, what's wrong?" Jia Yuanjing asked. "A large number of experts are approaching our Bloodflame Hall." Jia Xingtian opened his eyes wide and hurriedly left. Presumably, the Bloodflame Hall's hallmaster, a 9th-stage true monarch, had also sensed it. Who are they? At this time, in the sky above the Bloodflame Hall, Hua Ming looked ahead and asked loudly. However, this time, it was a group of black-clothed people. Among them, there were 2 9th-stage true monarchs, 10 8th-stage true monarchs, and dozens of 7th-stage true monarchs. Chapter 1861. System notifications rang out one after another. In the blink of an eye, Yi Xian's single slaughter seal directly soared to 9. If all 9 slaughter seals were to be unleashed, Yi Xian's strength would increase by 16 times. Unleash! In an instant, Yi Xian's strength skyrocketed again. He originally thought that he wouldn't be able to control this battle, but now, it seemed that he might be able to. Black Dragon Flame Wave. World-destroying Dragon Claw. Very soon, Yi Xian condensed 9 more slaughter seals. However, this time, he didn't need to use the slaughter state because the duration was still up. This time, he directly unleashed 8 slaughter seals and used the immortal extinguishing arrows. A total of 10 immortal extinguishing arrows pierced through the air, targeting a 7th-stage true monarch. One had to know that with Yi Xian's current 8th-stage true master realm, he could casually kill a high-level true monarch and condense enough slaughter seals. Killing one person would allow him to condense 10 immortal extinguishing arrows. Coupled with Yi Xian's current strength increase, how could 10 immortal extinguishing arrows not kill a 7th-stage true monarch? What a joke! Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. Next, every time Yi Xian killed a person, he would condense 10 immortal extinguishing arrows and aim them at the opponent's chest. In this kind of chaotic battle, the effect of the immortal extinguishing arrows was very good. At most, one person could only dodge 5 of them before their heart was pierced. The number of people on the human side started to decrease rapidly. Bastard, you're courting death. An 8th-stage true monarch noticed Yi Xian and immediately dove down. You want to go over? Did you ask for my permission? Suddenly, a black dragon appeared between him and Yi Xian. It turned out to be Jia Xingtian's son, Jia Yuanjing, an 8th-stage true monarch. You want to kill me? You're not qualified. Yi Xian immediately used the Death Hunt command to mark his opponent and condensed 10 more immortal extinguishing arrows. This 8th-stage true monarch had to defend against Jia Yuanjing and 10 immortal extinguishing arrows at the same time. That was not the main point. The main point was that the immortal extinguishing arrows were endless. 10, 20, 30. He was about to face 30 immortal extinguishing arrows. The exterminating immortal arrow had the ability to attack automatically. Moreover, Yi Xian would always aim at the enemy's heart. Unless the exterminating immortal arrow pierced the enemy's body, the enemy would not stop even if they ran for 100 years.
Of course, the other party could scatter the extinguishing immortal arrow or quickly dodge it so that the extinguishing immortal arrow would hit something else.
Damn it! The rank 8 middle-aged man realized that something was wrong and quickly retreated. Originally, this battle was in a stalemate. However, following the death of those rank 7 true monarchs, the situation became slightly bad. Sir, are we going to retreat? A true monarch of the 8th stage sent a voice transmission to a true monarch of the 9th stage. Don't be anxious. As long as we kill this Blood Flame Hall branch leader, we won't need to fear the others. A rank 9 true monarch shook his head. At this moment, the two of them are besieging the Blood Flame Hall's branch leader Heartwarming. However, Heartwarming has fused with nearly 600 world-destroying dragon scales and is also a Zeoist, so his power is very extraordinary. However, they had other plans. The situation is not bad. As long as I have a little more time, I can get rid of the two of them by myself. Heartwarming, who has transformed into his true form, thinks to himself. However, right at this moment, a white light suddenly flashes. Suddenly, a white light flashed. He glanced around and found that one of the two opponents had transformed into a white dragon. What? Heartwarming is extremely shocked. If the other party is a Zeoist, he should have been able to sense it. He reckons that the other party is using some kind of treasure to conceal his Zeoist aura. Without waiting for Heartwarming to react, the white dragon opens its big mouth and spits out a white dragon breath, which accurately explodes on Heartwarming's body. Not only that, but the other person also transformed into a white dragon and rapidly attacked. Roar! Heartwarming looks up to the sky and roars. Only now does he realize that the one who is attacking the Blood Flame Hall is not some other power but the White Dragon Hall. He did not expect that the Grand White Dragon Hall would actually do such a shady thing. Without any evidence to prove that he is a member of the Black Dragon Hall, they used such a method to destroy the Blood Flame Hall. I am unwilling to accept this. Heartwarming's heart is bleeding. He is indeed a branch leader of the Black Dragon Hall, but he does not know how he has been exposed. At this moment, he suddenly sees a familiar figure from the corner of his eyes. Jiang Tai. At this moment, he understands that he was exposed by Jiang Tai and Jiang Yang. At this moment, he even has the thought of perishing together with Jiang Tai and Jiang Yang. Unfortunately, he was seriously injured by these two experts of the White Dragon Hall. Even if he were to risk his life, he would not be able to hold on for long. At the same time, ding! Host has triggered a random mission. Kill Jiang Yang. Completion reward. Slaughter mark will advance once. Kill Jiang Yang and Jiang Tai. Double reward. Ding! Mission is in progress. Time reversal cannot be used. Two system notifications resound in Yi Xian's mind. Jiang Yang, Jiang Tai? Hearing this, Yi Xian quickly turns his head and sees the late Jiang Yang and Jiang Tai. Since the system gave him this mission, it means that this matter was definitely caused by Jiang Tai and Jiang Yang. Jiang Yang is only a rank 7 true monarch. Killing him is not difficult. But Jiang Tai is a rank 8 true monarch. If there is no one to help me, it will not be so easy to kill him in my current situation. Yi Xian thinks to himself. It must be said that the double reward is very tempting to him. But at this moment, he still needs to plan for the long term. In any case, Jiang Yang must be killed. Death Chasing Command. Immediately, Yi Xian uses the Death Chasing Command to mark the rank 7 true monarch Jiang Yang. It just so happens that he has reached the 9th mark. Thus, he quickly condenses 10 immortal ending arrows and aims them at Jiang Yang's heart. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 10 immortal ending arrows pierced through the air and shot toward Jiang Yang. At this time, Jiang Yang and Jiang Tai had just joined the battle. Because the others did not know that they were traitors, they were directly ambushed by the two. A rank 7 true monarch and a rank 8 true monarch elders of the Blood Flame Hall were ambushed and killed. Elder Jiang Yang, you. Elder Jiang Tai. Why are you attacking your own people? Could it be? The surrounding experts of the Blood Flame Hall all revealed astonished expressions. Those two are traitors. Kill them. At this time, Jia Xingtian suddenly yells. Now, anyone with a discerning eye can see that there is no need for him to remind them. Remnants of the Black Dragon cult, this old man has already forsaken the darkness for the light and submitted to the White Dragon Palace. If you know what's good for you, obediently surrender. Jiang Tai coldly says. What? We are from the Black Dragon cult? When the people below heard this, they were somewhat confused. Chapter 1862. Immediately, some of the ordinary elders were shaken. However, the experts of the White Dragon Palace took advantage of the situation and pursued them, heavily injuring or killing them as soon as they revealed an opening. Just a single sentence from Jiang Tai was enough to cause the Blood Flame Hall to lose several members. The other elders were so angry that they gnashed their teeth and directly pounced toward Jiang Yang and Jiang Tai.
My chance has finally come.
Yi Xian narrowed his eyes. The reason why he was able to act so smoothly was because there was someone helping him. If he had to face a rank 7 true monarch alone, it would definitely be impossible. But now, Jiang Tai's actions had aroused the anger of the crowd. Several people were already rushing toward him. In addition, Jiang Tai's son, Jiang Yang, naturally wouldn't let him off. You want to catch me? Not so easy. Jiang Yang's lips slightly curled up. But right at this time, a powerful aura suddenly appeared behind him. What? Jiang Yang suddenly turned around and discovered an extremely powerful dragon aura. Before he could react, the dragon aura had already engulfed him. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. A system notification rang out in Yi Xian's mind. Jiang Yang dead. Ding! Host has completed the random mission. Will you immediately receive the reward? This time, Yi Xian hesitated. Right now, he needed someone to attract his opponent's attention in order to succeed. Moreover, Jiang Yang was only a rank 7 true monarch, while Jiang Tai was in rank 8 true monarch, infinitely close to rank 9 true monarch. Most importantly, Jiang Yang had died in Yi Xian's hands. Jiang Tai would definitely be enraged. It was simply impossible to kill him. Yes. After pondering for a moment, Yi Xian made his decision. Sometimes, it was better to be a little more conservative.
After the random mission, there was another explanation, and that was that the time reversal skill couldn't be used while the mission was in progress.
What if an accident happened in the middle? At that time, wouldn't Yi Xian have to destroy 3 of his clones? It wasn't worth it. Ding! Slaughter Seal has leveled up once. The system notification rang out. Yi Xian quickly glanced at it and discovered that the amplification of a single seal had increased from 1.8 times to 2 times. Moreover, the maximum number of slaughter seals had increased from 9 to 10. If all 10 slaughter seals were to be unleashed at the same time, it would be able to increase his battle prowess by 20 times. In addition to the 10 times increase in sex and other things, that was a total of 30 times. It was a pity that the Carnage seal required 2 Devour points for the next level up. You bastard! How dare you kill my son? I'll take your life. When Jiang Tai saw that his son had been blasted to death by Yi Xian, he immediately raised his head and roared. He transformed into his true form and rushed towards Yi Xian. At this time, Jia Xingtian suddenly flashed over and held Jiang Tai back. Now I will show you my true strength. Yi Xian's eyes widened. He immediately used up the 10 slaughter seals that he had just condensed and activated the slaughter status. Previously it was only 16 times, but now it was 20 times. Although it couldn't be stacked, it still increased Yi Xian's strength by nearly 4 times. Kill! Murderous intent flashed in Yi Xian's eyes as he instantly disappeared from Jiang Tai's field of vision. The next moment, he appeared behind Jiang Tai. Annihilation Dragon Claw. Black Dragon Flame Wave. Yi Xian attacked with both hands and mouth, catching Jiang Tai unprepared. Although the latter dodged the Black Dragon Flame Wave, a large chunk of flesh was torn off his chest by the Annihilation Dragon Claw. Then, Jia Xingtian attacked. Bang! Jiang Tai's body was sent flying by Jia Xingtian's dragon tail. However, at the same time there was a change in the battle on the other side. Blood Flame Hall's branch leader, Huaming, was finally killed by those 2 white dragons and thus fell. Actually, it wasn't that Yi Xian didn't want to save Huaming, but that he had no other choice. Although he had the 10,000 Beasts diagram, most of the Blood Flame Hall's members were Zuyoists while the White Dragon Hall's members were mostly humans. Once the 10,000 Beasts diagram appeared, a large number of Blood Flame Hall experts would be suppressed. Moreover, Huaming and those 2 White Dragon Hall 9th stage true monarchs wouldn't be able to escape either. Yi Xian, it's bad. The hall leader is dead. Jia Xingtian couldn't help but say while attacking Jiang Tai. Let's kill Jiang Tai and then leave. Yi Xian replied through sound transmission. He was still unable to turn the situation around in this battle, but he could only avenge Huaming. Jiang Tai must die. Immediately, Yi Xian, along with Jia Xingtian, attacked Jiang Tai. Because of Jiang Yang's death, Jiang Tai also wanted to smash Yi Xian's body. Therefore, he quickly rushed over. However, when Yi Xian was halfway there, he suddenly sensed two other powerful auras. Ninth stage true monarchs. Not good. Yi Xian's expression changed greatly. He was unexpectedly targeted by two ninth stage true monarchs. It seemed that he couldn't kill Jiang Tai for the time being. Senior, let's go. At once, Yi Xian directly used the planting space to put Jia Xingtian and Jia Yuanjing inside. Then, he quickly used the death hunting command to mark a person and used the Eye of Assassination. World-destroying Dragon Claw. Yi Xian crushed the body of a 7th stage true monarch with a single strike. Then, he broke through the void and entered the planting space. He had already used his full strength. If he continued to stay here, it would be of no use. Who knew if something unexpected would happen? Therefore, he could only choose to leave. As for the others, he had already sent a sound transmission. However, many of them resisted the planting space's absorption and were not taken away. As a result, they were all killed by the experts of the White Dragon Palace. As for the disciples and relatives of the Blood Flame Hall, none of them managed to escape. They were all surrounded by the experts of the White Dragon Palace. The White Dragon Palace's plan was to eliminate the upper echelons of the Blood Flame Hall, and then find the upper echelons of the Blood Flame Hall. Although Yi Xian and Jia Xingtian had escaped, Huaming was already dead. Moreover, his body had been stored. As long as they searched his soul, the upper echelons of the Blood Flame Hall would have nowhere to hide. Of course, there would also be some accidents. For example, the Black Dragon Palace's branch leader would erase this memory. Or, this branch leader might not know the location of the upper echelons. Every once in a while, the Black Dragon Envoy would come to collect the world-destroying dragon scale. At this moment, Yi Xian had already passed through the Void Gate and arrived at a safe place. What a tragedy! A random mission actually appeared along the way, making the time reversal skill unusable. Yi Xian sighed repeatedly. In the random mission just now, he was unable to use the time reversal skill. Now that the random mission had been completed, although he could use the skill, he could only go back to the time after the random mission was triggered. In short, he could not go back to the time of yesterday. He could only go back to the time after Jiang Tai appeared. Otherwise, he would definitely go back to the time before and inform the Blood Flame Hall's Hallmaster, Huaming. Chapter 1863. Yi Xian did not expect that he would trigger a random quest along the way, causing his time reversal skill to temporarily lose its effect. He gazed into the distance. Jiang Tai, who had been marked with a death warrant, should be venting his anger by killing the elders of the Blood Flame Hall. Although my random mission has been completed, if I don't kill this Jiang Tai, I will feel uneasy. Yi Xian made up his mind. In a few more days, he would be able to make a breakthrough in his realm. At that time, it wouldn't be too difficult for him to kill this Jiang Tai who was an 8th stage true monarch. After all, Jia Xingtian, Jia Yuanjing, and several elders of the 7th stage true monarch rank were still waiting for orders in his planting space. That bastard Jiang Tai actually betrayed the Blood Flame Hall. In the planting space, Jia Xingtian and the others were cursing. Although they had escaped, they still had family and friends in the Blood Flame Hall. Moreover, many people from the Blood Flame Hall had died in this battle. They also wanted to kill Jiang Tai very much. Senior, don't worry. I will definitely kill Jiang Tai and avenge the Hallmaster and everyone else. I will also save the others. Yi Xian said. Saving people was a must, but not now. If he were to rush back now, it would be useless, so Yi Xian could only watch. Since only 6 people in the Blood Flame Hall knew the secret, as long as the others surrendered, they would not be killed by the White Dragon Palace's experts. Soon, the Blood Flame Hall was controlled. Then, the 2 rank 9 true monarchs immediately began to search Huaming's soul. The branch hall master of the Blood Flame Hall, Huaming, was a rank 9 true monarch. The 2 of them were also rank 9 true monarchs. Thus, it would not be that easy to perform a soul search on 2 people of the same level. At the very least, it was not something that could be done overnight because they did not have a treasure like the soul-absorbing bell. Several days later. Ding! Host has made a breakthrough. Host is now a 9th stage true master. Ding! Inferno Ghostly Lord, World-Annihilating Ghostly Dragon, Wei Zhentian, and Heaven-Breaking Divine Ape have all broken through. They are now 4th stage half-step true monarchs. Yi Xian's realm had undergone a qualitative improvement. However, with his current cultivation level, it would be difficult for him to deal with so many White Dragon Palace experts. However, Jia Xingtian, Jia Yuanjing and the other elders gave Yi Xian 10,000 pieces of World Annihilation Dragon Scales. As a result, the World Annihilation Ghostly Dragon's strength had doubled. Let's give it a try first. If it doesn't work, then I'll use Time Reversal. Yi Xian thought to himself. The Time Reversal skill was like a record. At most, it would return to the time when the White Dragon Palace experts attacked the Blood Flame Hall. However, this was enough. After all, nothing had happened after Yi Xian left. At this time, Yi Xian was already rushing towards the Bloodfire Hall. With his current strength, as long as he launched a sneak attack, it would be enough to cause quite a bit of trouble for the experts of the White Dragon Palace. Soon, he arrived near the Blood Flame Hall. With his cultivation level, no one would notice him. Jiang Tai is still inside. Yi Xian narrowed his eyes as he looked at the scarlet word, kill in the distance. Just in case, he wanted to take the White Dragon Palace's rank 7 true monarch first. That way, he would be able to use the slaughter seal. After the last battle, the White Dragon Palace only had a few rank 7 true monarchs left. Fortunately, there just so happened to be 2 rank 7 true monarchs patrolling outside the Blood Flame Hall. Let's start with you. Yi Xian raised his eyebrows and directly used the Death Hunt seal to mark one of the rank 7 true monarchs. In the next moment, he summoned the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon and the others and fused with them. There were 10 beasts, 10 times. Immediately after, Yi Xian unleashed 4 more slaughter seals, increasing his strength by 8 times. In addition, there was also the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon's triple Undying Battle Soul. If the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon's 6th-stage amplification was added, it would be a total of 26 times. Eye of Assassination. When the White Dragon Palace's rank 7 true monarch discovered the aura of the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon, Yi Xian had already used the Eye of Assassination and directly appeared behind him. Black Dragon Flame Wave. After fusing with the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon, Yi Xian opened his mouth and spat out a black dragon breath. Boom. This rank 7 true monarch was directly killed. Ding. Host's killing intent has increased. Ding. Host has condensed a slaughter seal. Ding. Host has condensed a slaughter seal. After several system notifications rang out, Yi Xian directly used 10 slaughter seals. Now, the slaughter seal's amplification was no longer 8 times, but 20 times. Yi Xian, whose strength had greatly increased, quickly rushed into the Bloodfire Hall. At the same time, his powerful aura was also detected by the experts of the White Dragon Palace in the Bloodfire Hall. It's that black dragon again. Immediately, many experts of the White Dragon Palace leaped into the sky. Among them, there was even a rank 9 true monarch expert. As for the other one, he was searching Huaming's soul. You can't stop me. Yi Xian opened his eyes wide and once again used the Death Hunt seal to mark one of them. Eye of Assassination. Yi Xian once again appeared behind the opponent and spat out his dragon breath. Ding. Host's killing intent has increased. Ding. Host has condensed a slaughter seal. Another series of system notifications rang out. Yi Xian, who had just used the slaughter seal, condensed another 9 slaughter seals. Adding the one that Yi Xian used himself, he now had 10 slaughter seals. Release. 9 carving seals. Immortal Slaying Sword Formation. Yi Xian opened his eyes wide. In the next instant, a beautiful formation rapidly spread out with him as the center. Back then, because there were many experts of the Bloodfire Hall, Yi Xian didn't dare to use this move. But today, the experts of the Bloodfire Hall were all under control, and the ones who jumped into the sky were all people of the White Dragon Palace. Therefore, Yi Xian didn't have any misgivings this time. After the Immortal Slaying Sword formation leveled up, it could be used regardless of whether it was 9 carving seals or 10 carving seals. Moreover, after using it, an Immortal Slaying puppet with 8 carving seals would appear in the formation. Perhaps not many people could block this move. Most importantly, even that 9th stage true monarch wouldn't be able to break this Immortal Slaying Sword formation unless he killed Yi Xian. Immediately, Those experts of the White Dragon Palace were enveloped by the immortal slaying sword formation. In the next instant, a frenzy of swords was set off within the immortal slaying sword formation. Then, people gradually started to die. Not only that, but Yi Xian also continuously used up the slaughter seal after each person died. 8. Carving Immortal Slaying Puppet. Immortal Slashing Arrow. Immortal Slaying Breath Slash. Yi Xian could be considered to have used all his trump cards. When the immortal slaying sword formation was finished, everyone present except that 9th stage true monarch had died. This move instantly killed more than 10 people, including several 8th stage true monarchs. Behind the immortal slaying sword formation, that 9th stage true monarch and the disciples of the Bloodfire Hall all revealed shocked expressions. What is the background of this brat? That 9th stage true monarch couldn't understand. Fortunately, he dodged quickly and didn't enter the immortal slaying sword formation. Otherwise, he would have been seriously injured. Immediately, he quickly transformed into his original form. Chapter 1864. You've finally returned to your true form? Good. The corners of Yi Xian's mouth slightly curled, and he immediately charged toward the white dragon. You're courting death. The white dragon's eyes flashed, and it aimed at Yi Xian, immediately releasing a white dragon's breath. Unfortunately, when this dragon's breath was released, Yi Xian had already flashed behind it. Myriad Beasts Diagram. Suppress. In an instant, the white dragon's strength dropped by 60%. Immediately after, Black Dragon Flame Wave. After using the Eye of Assassination, the Black Dragon Flame Wave's power increased by 50%. Adding that it was a sneak attack, this attack actually annihilated half of the white dragon's body in an instant. Coincidentally, half of the white dragon's heart was also destroyed. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. When this system notification rang out, Yi Xian's slaughter seals had recovered to 10. Now, one of the 2 White Dragon Palace's 9th stage true monarchs had already died, so the remaining one probably wouldn't be a threat. Coincidentally, that Zhang Tai also rushed over from the mountain behind the Blood Flame Hall. When he saw Yi Xian kill that 9th stage true monarch, he was so scared that he almost peed his pants. In just a few days, Yi Xian actually dared to kill his way in. What kind of monster was this? Zhang Tai faced death. After coldly saying that, Yi Xian flashed behind Zhang Tai, and then extended his dragon claw. Poochie! A piece of flesh was torn off Zhang Tai's back by the world-destroying dragon claw, and there was even a beating dragon's heart. No! Don't! Zhang Tai extended his hand, looking at Yi Xian. His eyes seemed to be begging Yi Xian not to crush his dragon's heart. For experts of this level, even if their hearts were ripped out, they would still be alive, unless their hearts were damaged. Unfortunately, Yi Xian's desire to kill Zhang Tai would not weaken. Poochie! With a crisp sound, Zhang Tai's dragon heart was crushed by Yi Xian. In an instant, Zhang Tai's body fell from the sky and was caught by Yi Xian. Half of the vengeance had been avenged. In the end, only that rank 9 true monarch of the White Dragon Palace was left. Yi Xian quickly rushed over. However, halfway there, that rank 9 true monarch of the White Dragon Palace rushed out on his own. Bastard! The White Dragon Palace expert flew into a rage and charged towards Yi Xian. In the blink of an eye, Yi Xian started to fight against him. After going through many enhancements, Yi Xian was now able to fight against this 9th stage true monarch. If this rank 9 true monarch were to transform into his true form, Yi Xian would be able to use the 10,000 beast diagram to suppress him and then kill him. The only thing he didn't know was whether this 9th stage true monarch would transform into his true form or not. Your individual combat power is about the same as mine now. I don't believe that you won't change. Yi Xian's eyes flickered and the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. Sure enough, when this rank 9 true monarch saw that his human form was unable to do anything to Yi Xian, he roared at the sky and transformed into his true form. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Yi Xian made Wei Zhentian transform into the 10,000 beasts diagram again and suppressed him in an instant. Although his true form was stronger, after being suppressed by the 10,000 beasts diagram, he was much weaker than before. What? This rank 9 true monarch was scared out of his wits. However, Yi Xian's attack had already arrived. Black Dragon Flame Wave. If he was at his peak, he would definitely be able to dodge this attack. However, with 60% of his strength suppressed by the 10,000 beasts diagram,
He couldn't dodge at all.
Boom.
With just one attack, half of this white dragon's body was annihilated and he directly died.
Ding. Host's killing intent has increased. A system notification rang out. Immediately, Yi Xian quickly rushed over and put away the corpse. He didn't expect to be able to kill these people without breaking through again. It seemed that he didn't need to use time reversal either. Now that all the White Dragon Palace experts were dead, Yi Xian quickly collected the others into the planting space, including Jia Xingtian's descendants and so on. As for the Jiang family members, Yi Xian also collected all of them, but he definitely wouldn't give them any convenience in the future. TSK. 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 The entire Bloodfire Hall actually gathered 30,000 pieces of World Annihilation Dragon Scales. After this, Yi Xian couldn't stop smiling. However, the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon now needed 100,000 pieces of World Annihilation Dragon Scales. 30,000 pieces of World Annihilation Ghost Dragon Scales could only increase its strength by 30%. However, at this moment, suddenly, a powerful aura descended upon the Bloodfire Hall. Yi Xian was so frightened that he hurriedly turned around and saw a white-robed elder standing in the air, looking down at him. An expert from the White Dragon Palace? Seeing this, Yi Xian's body trembled violently. He didn't expect another White Dragon Palace expert to appear. Moreover, this person's aura seemed to be even stronger than the two rank 9 true monarchs. A half-step true monarch. A half-step true monarch expert had actually appeared. This was a tragedy. One had to know that Yi Xian's buff had already worn off. Right now, he probably couldn't even defeat a rank 8 true monarch, let alone a half-step true monarch expert. However, he wasn't afraid. This time, he had only come to test things out. If anything unexpected happened, he could directly use the time reversal skill to go back. In the face of such an expert, Yi Xian didn't act rashly. He only quietly watched, pretending to be an ordinary Bloodfire Hall disciple. Of course, his strength was too low to pretend to be a Bloodfire Hall disciple. This half-step true monarch White Dragon Palace expert looked around but didn't find a single person. Thus, his gaze landed on Yi Xian. However, at this moment, another powerful aura appeared. This half-step true monarch White Dragon Palace expert turned his head and discovered a black figure rapidly rushing towards him. This aura was actually also a half-step true monarch. Who is it? This White Dragon Palace expert narrowed his eyes and watched cautiously. Soon, this black figure arrived in front of him. It was a black-clothed middle-aged man. Who are you? The White Dragon Palace expert couldn't help but ask. Someone from the White Dragon Palace? The black-clothed middle-aged man narrowed his eyes. Then, he directly transformed into a black dragon and charged at the White Dragon Palace expert. After knowing that the other party was from the White Dragon Palace, only someone from the Black Dragon sect would dare to directly attack. The White Dragon Palace expert immediately understood. Thus, he also charged at the black-clothed middle-aged man. Unfortunately, this White Dragon Palace expert was also a rank 1 half-step true monarch like the black-clothed middle-aged man. However, the black-clothed middle-aged man was a Xiaoyao while the black-clothed middle-aged man was a human. Furthermore, the black-clothed middle-aged man had fused with quite a few World Destruction Dragon Scales. Thus, this White Dragon Palace expert was utterly defeated and turned to flee. You want to leave? Not so easy. The black-clothed middle-aged man narrowed his eyes and unleashed his full power, beating this White Dragon Palace expert until he screamed miserably. Chapter 1865. The main hall of the Bloodflame Hall should be a branch of the Black Dragon cult. However, didn't they send a 9th stage true monarch to pick me up? Why is he a half-step true monarch? Yi Xian had some doubts in his heart, but he didn't think too much about it. He decided to observe the situation first. Soon, the battle in the sky between the half-step true monarchs ended with the death of the White Dragon Palace's expert. Then the black-clothed man kept the corpse. This time his luck was pretty good. He actually managed to kill a White Dragon Palace expert. You are Yi Xian? The black-clothed middle-aged man asked as he turned to look at Yi Xian. Junior Yi Xian greets Senior. Yi Xian hurriedly cupped his fists. The black-clothed middle-aged man nodded slightly. Then, he took out a floating image crystal to confirm Yi Xian's appearance. At his level, he would be able to see through Yi Xian's disguise. Where's your dragon? Summon it for me to see. the black-clothed middle-aged man said. Hearing this, Yi Xian quickly summoned the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon. The black-clothed middle-aged man took out another testing crystal and tested it. Sure enough, the World Annihilation Ghost Dragon had fused with more than 500 World Annihilation Dragon scales. A fourth-stage half-step true monarch black dragon had actually fused with 500 World Annihilation Dragon scales. It was simply inconceivable. Even the main hall of the Blood Flame Hall couldn't find such a black dragon. Therefore, the main hall of the Blood Flame Hall treated Yi Xian's black dragon as a treasure. If it was nurtured, it would become a super battle force. Let's go. I'll bring you to the main hall. After the black-clothed middle-aged man finished speaking, he led Yi Xian on his way. Along the way, he inquired about the matter of the branch hall. After that, he was very surprised. The White Dragon Palace had actually done such a thing. Therefore, he quickly reported to the main hall of the Blood Flame Hall. However, the reply from the main hall was that he shouldn't return for now. Something had happened in the main hall. However, the main hall didn't say what exactly had happened. Even the main hall is in trouble. Could it be related to the White Dragon Palace? Yi Xian thought to himself. During the journey, Yi Xian finally broke through to the half-step true monarch realm, while the old tree and the others reached the fifth-stage half-step true monarch realm. A few days later, he followed the black-clothed middle-aged man and finally arrived at the headquarters of the Blood Flame Hall. However, when they looked from afar, they discovered a large number of white-clothed experts surrounding the Blood Flame Hall's main hall. These white-clothed people should be the experts of the White Dragon Palace. However, why were they surrounding the Blood Flame Hall's main hall and not taking any action? Could it be that he was still in the suspicious stage? Senior, what should we do? Yi Xian could not help but ask. The black-clothed middle-aged man paused for a moment, then said, "Just now, I received a sound transmission from my fellow disciples. The White Dragon Palace suspects that our Blood Flame Hall is a branch of the Black Dragon sect, so they have begun to investigate. Could it be that another traitor has appeared?" Yi Xian secretly said in his heart. His luck was really too bad. There was a traitor in the branch hall, and now there was another traitor in the main hall. Can't you cultivate properly? Senior, many thanks for escorting me here. Yi Xian suddenly cupped his fists toward the black-clothed middle-aged man. The black-clothed middle-aged man raised his eyebrows and asked in shock, "What do you want to do?" "This brat wants to go and stir up trouble," Yi Xian said. "Stir up trouble? What kind of joke is this? What realm are you at?" The black-clothed middle-aged man felt that Yi Xian was a bit too arrogant. After all, Yi Xian had just broken through to the half-step true monarch realm. One had to know that the White Dragon Palace experts patrolling outside the Blood Flame Hall were all high-level true monarchs at the very least, and there were also quite a few half-step true monarchs. With Yi Xian's strength, going there was simply courting death. "Senior, to tell you the truth, before you found me, I had just killed 2 ninth-stage true monarchs of the White Dragon Palace. These are their corpses." As Yi Xian spoke, he took out the 2 white dragon corpses. "You killed 2 ninth-stage true monarchs of the White Dragon Palace? What kind of joke is this?" As the black-clothed middle-aged man spoke, he carefully examined the 2 corpses. They were indeed ninth-stage true monarchs. However, he still did not believe Yi Xian's words. In his eyes, Yi Xian was a good seedling. Therefore, he did not want Yi Xian to meet with a setback and die prematurely. However, before he could react, Yi Xian had already summoned the old tree and the others. World Devastator Ghostly Dragon, merge. Yi Xian did not say anything and merged with the World Devastator Ghostly Dragon. Then, he consumed the slaughter seal and exploded. Kill. In an instant, Yi Xian charged out. Previously, he could easily kill high-level true monarchs. Now that he had broken through, it was even less of a problem. Even so, he still wanted to gradually improve. This time, he was looking for a 7th-stage true monarch. Bam! With a muffled sound, a 7th-stage true monarch of the White Dragon Palace was crushed by Yi Xian and died. Due to the huge difference in cultivation level, Yi Xian's slaughter seal instantly condensed to 10. Slaughter seal, 20 times. Yi Xian's eyes widened, and his aura instantly skyrocketed. After the 20 times increase, his strength was infinitely close to that of a half-step true monarch. If he could use it with a myriad beasts diagram, he would probably be able to kill even a half-step true monarch. Very soon, the White Dragon Palace experts died one by one, and their corpses were collected by Yi Xian. 7th stage true monarchs, 8th stage true monarchs, and even 9th stage true monarchs all died at Yi Xian's hands. However, Yi Xian's rampant actions also attracted the attention of a half-step true monarch expert. Where did this brat come from? How dare he kill my White Dragon Palace's people? A shout rang out. Immediately after, a powerful aura rushed toward Yi Xian. A half-step true monarch. A mere first-stage half-step true monarch isn't qualified. Yi Xian raised an eyebrow and directly used the death hunt token to mark the other party. Eye of Assassination. In the next instant, Yi Xian flashed behind the other party. The Eye of Assassination would increase the power of the next attack by 50%. And for the next attack, Yi Xian was going to use the Immortal Slaying Sword formation. Moreover, he was going to use the 10 seal. In an instant, the Immortal Slaying Sword formation expanded with Yi Xian as the center, enveloping that half-step true monarch of the White Dragon Palace. The 10 seal Immortal Slaying Sword formation and the Eye of Assassination were more than 10 times stronger than the 9 seal Immortal Slaying Sword formation that day. After all, Yi Xian's cultivation level had also increased. Immediately, a gust of wind blew within the Immortal Slaying Sword formation. Countless flying swords swept out. At the same time, a figure attacked that half-step true monarch of the White Dragon Palace. The 9 seal Immortal Slaying Sword formation would summon an 8 seal Immortal Slaying Puppet, while the 10 seal Immortal Slaying Sword formation would summon a 10 seal Immortal Slaying Puppet. What a powerful aura! The White Dragon Palace expert narrowed his eyes. After sensing this extraordinary aura, he immediately transformed into his true form. Another white dragon appeared. Chapter 1866. Just in time. Yi Xian laughed loudly and immediately had Megatron transform into the Myriad Beasts diagram. Suppress. The white dragon's strength instantly dropped by 60%. But that wasn't the point. The point was that he was currently in the middle of the Immortal Slaying Sword formation. Not good. The half-step monarch's expression changed greatly, but it was already too late. Even at his peak, he might not have had a 100% chance of surviving the Immortal Slaying Sword formation. Now that his chances had dropped by 60%, it wasn't a 90% chance of survival, but a 100% chance of survival. Immortal Slaying Sword Technique. Within the Immortal Slaying Sword formation, the Immortal Slaying Puppet executed the Immortal Slaying Sword Technique. Together with the sword formation's countless chaotic swords, the half-step monarch was quickly killed. A half-step monarch, dead. Before this, Yi Xian had already used the slaughter seal. Then, because of his enormous killing intent, he formed 9 more slaughter seals. Another 10 slaughter seals. 1 Immortal Slaying Sword formation can kill a half-step monarch. If I use it a few more times. At this thought, Yi Xian quickly put away the half-step monarch's corpse in front of him, then quickly searched for his next target. The Blood Flame Hall's headquarters was very large. Even if one flew around it, it would still take some time. This time, there were many White Dragon Palace experts surrounding the Blood Flame Hall's headquarters. Excluding the monarchs, there were more than 20 half-step monarchs. Among these 20 half-step monarchs, there were 15 rank 1 half-step monarchs, 5 rank 2 half-step monarchs, and 1 rank 3 half-step monarchs. This strength was actually about the same as the Blood Flame Hall's headquarters. However, these people didn't do anything for some reason. Soon, after killing more than 10 monarchs, Yi Xian finally found a second half-step monarch. Death Hunt Command. Eye of Assassination. 10 Carving Seals. Immortal Slaying Sword formation. Yi Xian didn't say anything else and directly used his ultimate move. However, this half-step monarch wasn't a Xiaoyao, but a human. This meant that the Myriad Beasts diagram was useless against him. Who are you, scoundrel? The White Dragon Palace expert shouted at the sky. At this moment, he was already enveloped by the Immortal Slaying Sword formation. The Immortal Slaying Puppets had also been formed and were charging towards him. Besides that, there were also other attacks from Yi Xian. Before finding this half-step true monarch, Yi Xian had used his dragon claws to capture a few White Dragon Palace true monarchs. After using the Immortal Slaying Sword formation, Yi Xian had crushed these White Dragon Palace true monarchs to death one by one. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. Ding! Host has condensed a slaughter seal. The slaughter seal once again surged upwards. Immortal slaying puppet go. Yi Xian's eyes widened as he formed several immortal puppets with 8 inscriptions. Under the siege of so many people, this half-step monarch finally fell and his corpse was taken away by Yi Xian. However, before he died, Yi Xian felt an aura even stronger than that of a first-stage half-step true king. It seemed that his actions had already been noticed by those second-stage half-step true kings. It's about time. Let's go. Immediately, Yi Xian tore through the void and left. That rank 2 half-step true monarch missed. Last time, Yi Xian had killed 2 half-step true kings from White Dragon Palace. If he came again tomorrow, he might kill 2 more. Tisk. TSK. TSK. There are more than 10,000 world destruction dragon scales in total. Not bad, not bad. After counting the spoils of war, Yi Xian's lips curled up slightly. Because these people were from White Dragon Palace, they did not have many world destruction dragon scales, but it was enough. On the other side, the black-robed middle-aged man hiding in the distance could not believe that Yi Xian had successfully killed 2 half-step true kings. As for where Yi Xian had gone, even he did not know. After a day, after all the skills were off cooldown, Yi Xian attacked again and killed a few more high-level true monarchs and 2 half-step true kings. If this continued, the world destruction ghostly dragon's amplification would increase by a lot and even reach the 7th stage. How I hope a fortuitous encounter will allow me to obtain 10 million world destruction dragon scales. This way, the world destruction ghostly dragon's strength will definitely skyrocket. Yi Xian thought to himself. However, on the 3rd day, the people from White Dragon Palace learned their lesson and started to move in groups of 2 or 3 half-step true kings. However, this was of no use to Yi Xian. Those who deserved to be killed would still be killed. After Yi Xian killed a few of them, he finally collected 100,000 world destruction dragon scales, allowing the world destruction ghostly dragon's amplification to reach the 7th stage. This time, he actually needed 500,000 world destruction dragon scales. In other words, he needed 5,000 world destruction dragon scales to increase the amplification by 1 point. This was truly heaven-defying. However, as long as there were enough world destruction dragon scales, the world destruction ghostly dragon could continue to grow without limit. One had to know that the world destruction black dragon's body was astonishingly large. Its dragon scales were endless and could probably be measured in hundreds of millions, billions, or even tens of billions. For example, the half-step true king level white dragon that Yi Xian had killed previously was so large that it covered the sky. Its dragon scales had long exceeded hundreds of millions. Ding! Host has broken through. Host is now a 2nd stage half-step true monarch. Ding! Inferno Ghostly Lord, World Destruction Ghostly Dragon, Wei Zhentian, and Sky-Breaking Ape God have broken through. Host is now a 6th stage half-step true monarch. While Yi Xian was camping, they had broken through again and their strength had increased by several times. Now, Yi Xian was qualified to attack a 3rd stage half-step true monarch. Therefore, he was prepared to go all out. Since you're ready, let's go. Yi Xian narrowed his eyes. This time, he directly charged to the entrance of the Bloodfire Hall. The 3rd stage half-step true monarch was there. It was the same old plan. He would start from the weakest. World Destruction Ghostly Dragon, fuse. Without hesitation, Yi Xian fused with the World Destruction Ghostly Dragon. Then, he used the Death Hunt token to mark a person and used the Eye of Assassination to head over. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. Immediately after, a series of system notifications rang out. Before this, Yi Xian had already appeared several times. Therefore, he had already been targeted by the experts of the White Dragon Palace. Therefore, he needed some puppets to avoid being surrounded. 8 immortal murdering puppets. Yi Xian summoned 5 puppets at once. Of course, these were the immortal murdering seals that he had formed after killing 5 people in a row. Brat, it's you again. Who are you? The 3rd stage half-step true monarch asked Yi Xian. I'm your ancestor. Yi Xian opened his eyes wide and started fighting. At this moment, there were 3 2nd stage half-step true monarchs and 1 3rd stage half-step true monarch at the entrance of the Bloodfire Hall. As soon as Yi Xian finished speaking, he was surrounded by them. Countless attacks swept toward Yi Xian. Eye of Assassination. 10 Immortal Slaying Sword Formation. Chapter 1867. Child's Play. The 3-second stage half-step True Kings suddenly formed a white formation that blocked the chaotic sword attacks of the immortal slaying sword formation. As for the 3rd stage half-step True King, he shuttled through the immortal slaying sword formation alone and rushed toward Yi Xian.
You have some skills.
Yi Xian narrowed his eyes and quickly retreated. These 4 were all in human form. Yi Xian didn't know which one of them was a Zooist.
Therefore he was waiting.
Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Within the immortal slaying sword formation, the 4 rapidly approached Yi Xian. When they were close enough, they all transformed. Haha, so all 3 of them are Zooists. This is great. Yi Xian opened his eyes wide and directly ordered Megatron to transform. Myriad Beasts Diagram. Suppress.
What?
The 3 were extremely shocked. All 3 of them lost 60% of their battle prowess. As a result, their defense within the immortal slaying sword formation was instantly destroyed. Puff 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 puff. Streaks of sword light pierced through their bodies, and streams of white blood spurted out from their bodies. Roar. The 3 white dragons were instantly heavily injured by the immortal slaying sword formation, and then killed by the immortal slaying puppets. As a result, only the 3rd stage half-step True King was left. Fortunately, there was a time difference when the 3 second-grade half-step True Kings died. Yi Xian obtained more than 20 slaughter seals one after another. These slaughter seals were then used by Yi Xian to summon 3 immortal slaying puppets. There were 8 of them in total. Good boy, you must be a genius of the Black Dragon cult. Killing you can be considered as eliminating a good seedling of the Black Dragon cult. As the 3rd stage half-step True King spoke, he attacked Yi Xian with all his strength, trying to kill him. What a joke! You want to kill me? The corners of Yi Xian's mouth slightly curled up. The immortal slaying sword formation was still active, and there were also 8 immortal slaying puppets. It was impossible for this 3rd stage half-step True King to kill him. Moreover, there was also the old tree and the sky-breaking ape god assisting. Netherworld's soul-shattering strike. Startling 72 strikes. Immortal slaying sword art. Black flame black dragon wave. Under the joint attack of Yi Xian's group, this 3rd stage half-step True King could only retreat and quickly escape the immortal slaying sword formation. However, if Yi Xian couldn't kill him during the duration of the immortal slaying sword formation, then he probably wouldn't have a chance. Looks, Isle's blood-slaying king. Then aren't the Blood Flame Hall's experts a bit too afraid of death? I've been helping them these past few days, but they're completely indifferent? At this moment, Yi Xian was extremely unhappy in his heart. He didn't expect the people from the main hall to be so cowardly. However, this was understandable because the White Dragon Hall was countless times more powerful than the Blood Flame Hall. Once they resisted, they would suffer a calamity. Therefore, they did not dare to move and could only watch from afar.
Then, who is that person?
Could he be a super genius nurtured by our Black Dragon sect? The upper echelons of the Blood Flame Hall all had the same thought. Yi Xian had already separated from the 3rd stage half-step True King and was no longer fighting. The immortal slaying sword formation's duration was over, so Yi Xian was preparing to leave. However, just as Yi Xian was about to leave, a large number of powerful auras suddenly appeared in the distance. They were all at least half-step True Kings.
There were over 100 of them.
Who's there? Yi Xian was startled. Over 100 half-step True Kings? Where did they come from? Was it the White Dragon sect or the Black Dragon sect? After Xiao Chen took a closer look, he realized that the people who came this time were not friends but enemies. They were all from the White Dragon Palace. Not good. Retreat. Yi Xian's expression changed greatly as he prepared to leave. If so many people surrounded him, he would be in trouble. But at this moment, ding! Host has triggered a random mission. Defeat Bai Longzi, Yang Yun, and ensure that the Blood Flame Hall's casualties do not exceed 20%. A system notification suddenly sounded. Hearing this, Yi Xian trembled. What the hell was Bai Longzi, Yang Yun? However, he was certain that Bai Longzi, Yang Yun should be among this group of White Dragon sect experts. Phew, I can actually use the time reversal skill this time. In that case, I don't need to leave immediately. Yi Xian sighed in relief. Last time, the random mission did not allow him to use the time reversal skill. However, this time he could, so he was not in a hurry. The 3rd stage half-step True King seemed to have received a transmission from someone. He kept staring at Yi Xian and did not do anything. He and Yi Xian quietly waited for the group to arrive. Yi Xian saw that the leader was a white-haired youth in white clothes. He was a third-stage half-step true king. Behind him were several third-stage half-step true kings, as well as a large number of first-stage and second-stage half-step true kings. This guy's background was not small. You killed so many of my people with your own strength. What is your name? The white-haired youth asked as he looked at Yi Xian. And who are you? Yi Xian asked.
As soon as he said this, a third-stage half-step true king stepped forward and shouted, "How dare you?
You don't even know Bai Longzi." Bai Longzi? What the hell? Yi Xian raised his eyebrows. Seeing his expression, an expert of the Blood Flame Hall immediately transmitted a message to him. Bai Longzi are the holy sons selected by White Dragon sect. They are geniuses who have the potential to become White Dragon emissaries in the future. White Dragon emissaries. Although Yi Xian did not know who told him this, it was not important. What was important was that he heard a familiar term. The white-haired middle-aged man who had chased after him that day was a White Dragon emissary. Later on, he was chased by the Black Dragon emissary. It was unknown whether he was still alive or not. After all, the target of the Death Pursuit Order was too large, so the White Dragon emissary's Death Pursuit Order disappeared. Speaking of which, it would not be easy for Yi Xian to defeat this Bai Longzi on a random mission. Yi Xian calmly looked at the other party.
After a short pause, the latter said, "I've already told you my identity."
"What is your name?" "Yi Liangchen." Yi Xian casually replied. After all, it was just a name. It was not much. Yi Liangchen. Bai Longzi narrowed his eyes. He had never heard of this name before. However, he was sure that Yi Xian's talent was much better than his. If Yi Xian was a member of the Black Dragon sect, why would the Black Dragon sect allow such a genius to roam freely? Thus, he felt that Yi Xian should not be a member of the Black Dragon sect. "Why did you kill my people?" Bai Longzi asked. "Then why did you surround the Blood Flame Hall?" Yi Xian continued asking. Chapter 1868. What arrogance! Yi Xian coldly snorted. Yang Yun didn't plan on wasting words with Yi Xian and directly said, "No matter what, you killed so many of my people. I'm afraid you won't be able to leave today." "If I want to leave, you can't stop me," Yi Xian replied. These words were true. After all, he had the Eye of the Void and the time reversal skill. At worst, he wouldn't accept this random mission. As long as he was a bit faster the next time, he wouldn't encounter this Bai Longzi. "I don't know if you can leave or not, but I know that none of the people in the Blood Flame Hall will leave." After saying this, Yang Yun glanced at the experts of the Blood Flame Hall. At this time, Yi Xian suddenly thought of something. In this random mission, besides defeating Yang Yun, he also had to ensure the safety of the experts of the Blood Flame Hall. If more than 20% of them died, it would be useless even if he defeated Yang Yun. "Then what do you want?" Yi Xian asked. "It's very simple. Fight with the White Dragon Guard I just selected," Yang Yun said.
"What if I win?"
Yi Xian asked. "If you win you can challenge me. As long as you defeat me, they will be safe. If you lose, you have to become my White Dragon Guard." Yang Yun said. "Challenge your guard first, then challenge you," Yi Zichen said. Yi Xian's lips slightly curled. This was exactly what he wanted. Since that was the case, then come. Seeing Yi Xian remain silent, Yang Yun glanced over and a second-stage half-step true king immediately walked out. This person was carefully selected by him. His aptitude was also very high. After cultivating for less than 5,000 years, he was already a first-stage half-step true king. As for himself, his aptitude was even more monstrous. After cultivating for less than 2,000 years, he was already a third-stage half-step true king. It was precisely because of this that he was chosen by the White Dragon Palace as a White Dragon Prince. In the future, he would be able to compete with the other White Dragons. If he succeeded, he would become the new White Dragon emissary of the White Dragon Palace. "I still have some time left. If I hurry, I should be able to win," Yi Xian thought to himself as he gazed at this rank 1 half-step true king. Huff huff. At this time, the low-rank half-step true monarch suddenly attacked. Although Yi Xian had just killed a few second-stage half-step true kings, The strength of the person in front of him was not to be underestimated. He was definitely not someone to be trifled with. Even if the other party was only a stage 1/2 step true king, he still couldn't underestimate him. Kill. Yi Xian's eyes suddenly widened as he used the death hunt command to mark his opponent. Eye of Assassination. In the next moment, Yi Xian flashed behind his opponent. Unexpectedly, the other side reacted very quickly and turned around to fight back. Bang! In the air, waves of air billowed. Yi Xian's black dragon flame wave, which could instantly kill a stage 2 half-step true monarch, was actually dispersed by a single punch from a stage 1 half-step true monarch. So strong. As expected of the White Dragon Prince. The White Dragon guards that he picked out are not to be trifled with, Yi Xian thought to himself. Luckily, his immortal slaying puppets had come to lend him a hand. Bai Longzi could see that these immortal slaughtering puppets were not alive, so he didn't bother. Although this stage 1 half-step true monarch was strong, Yi Xian was not weak. Under their combined attacks, this stage 1 half-step true monarch fell in the end. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. When this system notification sounded, Yi Xian also let out a sigh of relief. Although he had condensed another 10 slaughter seals, his fusion time was about to end. He probably wouldn't be able to fight Bai Longzi. It seemed that he still had to use the time reversal skill. My lord, the White Dragon Guard is dead. After the stage 1 half-step true monarch died, a stage 3 half-step true monarch behind Bai Longzi said. I know. Bai Longzi narrowed his eyes. The White Dragon Guards that he had chosen had pretty good aptitudes. However, Yi Xian was only a stage 6 half-step true monarch. Yet, he was able to kill a half-step true monarch more than 10 realms above him. Interesting. I must find a chance to sign a master-servant blood contract with him. Bai Longzi thought to himself. He saw that Yi Xian's aptitude was too monstrous. Even he felt inferior. Therefore, he wanted to take Yi Xian as his servant. At that time, if he introduced Yi Xian to Bai Longzi, he would naturally rise in status. After all, what he signed was a master-servant blood contract. At this time, Yi Xian had already put away the corpse of the White Dragon Guard. Then, he turned to look at Bai Longzi. You just fought a battle and now another one. I'm afraid you've used up a lot of energy. I'll give you some time to recover. Bai Longzi suddenly said something that made Yi Xian's eyes light up. Give him time to recover? That was great. Yi Xian's fusion time was about to end. At that time, he wouldn't even be able to defeat a stage 1 half-step true monarch, let alone Bai Longzi. However, since he was being given time, it was the best thing that could happen. I want 7 days. Yi Xian said directly. 7 days? When Bai Longzi heard this, he was a little confused. However, he didn't ask further. This amount of time was nothing to him. All right, then I'll give you 7 days. Bai Longzi immediately agreed. Haha. Yi Xian grinned. He had already calculated that he could break through from stage 2 half-step true monarch to stage 4 half-step true monarch in 7 days. At that time, his strength would increase 10-fold. Let's see who could stop him. Even Bai Longzi, who was chosen by the White Dragon Palace, wouldn't be able to stop him. However, just in case, Yi Xian decided to change his strength configuration. Unicorn's Descent. This skill doesn't seem to be of much use to me now. Why don't I just let the system retrieve it? Yi Xian thought to himself. Ding! Unicorn's Descent has been successfully retrieved. Ding! Immortal Eye Unicorn's bloodline has evolved once. Ding! Host has obtained 5 Devour points. This caused Yi Xian to be somewhat surprised. He didn't expect that after the Unicorn's Descent skill was retrieved, the Immortal Eye Unicorn's bloodline would evolve once again. Why was the Black Dragon Flame Blast so powerful? It was because it was a fire-based attack. The Immortal Eye Qilin bloodline and the Immortal Divine Phoenix bloodline both had the ability to increase the power of fire attacks. Moreover, the Immortal Eye Qilin bloodline also had the Qilin True Qi, which had the effect of burning everything under the heavens. This meant that Yi Xian's attacks would be even more terrifying in the future. After all, other than the Unicorn's bloodline, Unicorn's physique and Unicorn's deterrence had also evolved. Not bad, not bad. Yi Xian nodded satisfactorily. He originally had 3 Devour points in reserve. Now that he had 5 Devour points, he had 8 Devour points left. However, The slaughter seal needed 2 devour points to evolve once. With 8 devour points, he could only evolve 4 times. If I use all my devour points to strengthen the slaughter seal, although it can increase my strength by a lot, it might not be enough to deal with so many people. Chapter 1869. Wei Zhentian's magic treasure form is currently at level 2. If I use devouring points, I'll need 5 devouring points to upgrade it to level 3. Yi Xian squinted his eyes. Wei Zhentian's magic treasure form was too useful. Every time it leveled up, the power of all magic treasures would increase. It was too practical. If the soul-sucking bell is upgraded to level 3, I'll definitely be able to cause internal strife. Moreover, Yang Yun is a Bai Longzi. It'll be best if I can control him. I'll be able to gain a lot of benefits in the future. After thinking about it, Yi Xian made up his mind. Ding! Wei Zhentian's magic treasure form has leveled up to level 3. Yi Xian used 5 devouring points to upgrade Wei Zhentian's magic treasure form to level 3. With level 3 magic treasure form, the number of magic treasures had increased. Many new magic treasures had appeared, and their effects were greatly improved. Everything is ready. We're just waiting for the final push. Yi Xian glanced at Bai Longzi from afar, and then separated from his body. He's a beast tamer? Bai Longzi and the others were surprised when they saw this. They had always thought that the world destroyer ghostly dragon was a Zeoist. Not only that, but they also felt Yi Xian's cultivation level. Level 2 half-true monarch. It turned out that the level 6 half-true monarch was just the world destroyer ghostly dragon. This guy must be taken in as a white dragon guard. If he's nurtured properly, he'll definitely be able to crush the other Bai Longzi. Yang Yun's eyes widened. The reason why he didn't make a move now was because he was afraid that Yi Xian would really be able to leave. If that happened, all his efforts would be in vain. Therefore, he wanted to make a move personally. When the time came, he would directly force Yi Xian to form a master-servant blood contract. As long as he succeeded, Yi Xian would be his servant. His servant's body would also listen to his orders. However, would things really go so smoothly? 2 days later. Ding! Host has made a breakthrough. Host is now a level 3 half-true monarch. Ding! Inferno Ghostly Lord, World Destroyer Ghostly Dragon, Wei Zhentian, Sky-Breaking Ape God have made a breakthrough. You are now a level 7 half-true monarch. When the surrounding people felt the change in Yi Xian's aura, they couldn't help but feel a little surprised. No wonder you need a few days. It turns out that you are already on the verge of a breakthrough. However, do you think that you can fight me just because you have a breakthrough? Bai Longzi, Yang Yun, coldly snorted. There's no point in talking too much. We'll talk about it in 5 days. Yi Xian replied directly. 5 days later, he would be able to make another breakthrough and become a 4th stage half-step true monarch. At that time, with Wei Zhentian's level 3 Dharma treasure, he would definitely be able to beat the crap out of Bai Longzi. Wei Zhentian's Dharma treasures had evolved twice. The number of Dharma treasures he could choose every day had increased to 6. Over the past few days, Yi Xian had been observing Wei Zhentian for any new Dharma treasures. However, the probability of those commonly used treasures appearing was too high. After a few days, he only saw a new treasure called the Demonic Flute of Lust. This magic treasure could stimulate a person's desires, which was much easier to control than the soul-sucking bell. Stimulating a person's desires and controlling them was naturally easier than the first one. Most importantly, this Dharma treasure appeared on the 7th day. At this time, Yi Xian's realm had already broken through from a 3rd stage half-step true monarch to a 4th stage half-step true monarch. The old tree and the others had even reached 8th stage half-step true monarch. Their strength had increased by dozens of times compared to 7 days ago. Little guy, do you think this won't kill you? After hearing these system notifications, Yi Xian's lips curled up slightly. This Bai Longzi could be said to have trapped himself in a cocoon of his own making. After sensing that Yi Xian's realm had changed again, everyone present was shocked again. It had only been a few days, and he had already made consecutive breakthroughs? Even for them, when they were at Yi Xian's realm, it took years for them to make breakthroughs. However, Yi Xian's unit of measurement was days, and it was even a few days. How terrifying! This fact made the desire in Bai Longzi's heart even stronger. Good fellow, you are quite capable. Bai Longzi opened his eyes wide and said,
7 days have passed.
Are we going to start now? All right. Yi Xian stood up. He was already prepared. What I said before will not change. As long as you win against me, I will let go of the Blood Flame Hall. However, if you lose, you will become my White Dragon Guard.
White Dragon Sun Yong-yun emphasized again.
If you win, I can even become your slave. Yi Xian said casually with a smile. Win? What kind of joke was this? 7 days ago, Yi Xian was still worried about whether he could defeat Bai Longzi. However, 7 days later, his plan had changed. Challenge Bai Longzi? No. Now, he was going to challenge Bai Longzi and the 100 half-step true kings behind him. Merge. Yi Xian did not say anything and directly merged with the world destroyer Ghostly Dragon. Bai Longzi's expression also darkened as he stepped forward.
However, in the next moment, Wei Zhentian directly turned into a red flute, and a faint flute sound began to spread.
Everyone was confused. Bai Longzi only felt his head become restless. Even with his strength as a third-stage half-step true king, he was actually affected. Not to mention the group of people behind him. The 103rd stage half-step true kings suddenly seemed to go crazy and began to attack the people around them. The first and second stage half-step true kings were all affected by the demonic fiery flute of desire and began to kill each other. As for the third stage half-step true kings, they were bitterly holding on. Death Hunt Command. Eye of Assassination. In the next moment, Yi Xian directly flashed behind a third-stage half-step true king and opened his mouth to release a black dragon flame wave. Boom! This third-stage half-step true king directly died. Coincidentally, he was the third-stage half-step true king that Yi Xian had not killed 7 days ago. Yi Xian's slaughter seals instantly filled up. 20 times slaughter status. 10 slaughter seals, all of them erupting. In the next moment, Yi Xian appeared behind Bai Longzi, Yang Yun. Black Dragon Flame Wave. Boom. In any case, Bai Longzi was chosen by the White Dragon Palace. His strength was naturally extraordinary, and he would not be so easily affected. He dodged this attack. However, he was about to suffer the attacks of countless people. Soul-absorbing bell. Control. Ding-ling. After Wei Zhentian activated these people's desires, he turned into the soul-absorbing bell. After the soul-absorbing bell was upgraded to the second level, it had the ability to control people. Therefore, Yi Xian had pawned off the Eye of Soul. Now that the soul-absorbing bell was at the third level, the success rate of control would be greatly increased. Ding. Control successful. Ding. Control successful. System notifications rang out one after another. In an instant, more than 60 half-step true kings were controlled by Yi Xian. Ding-ling. Chapter 1870. Clink. When the third clink was heard, all the experts of the White Dragon Palace, except for Bai Longzi and Yang Yun, were controlled by Yi Xian. Among them, there were even a few third-stage half-step true kings. At this moment, Bai Longzi was surrounded by this group of people and Yi Xian. How did you do that? Yang Yun was extremely shocked. Even he would not be able to do this. You don't need to know. As soon as Yi Xian finished speaking, his figure suddenly disappeared and reappeared behind Yang Yun. World-destroying Dragon Claw. A dragon claw suddenly appeared in the air and restrained Yang Yun. Too naive. Yang Yun opened his eyes wide and his body rapidly enlarged. It turned out that he was also a Xiaoyao and a white dragon. Moreover, he was a rare rainbow white dragon in the White Dragon clan and had rainbow scales on his body. Unfortunately, his transformation into his true form was equivalent to walking right into a trap or forcing himself into a dead end. Myriad Beasts Diagram. In an instant, Yang Yun's combat strength decreased by 70%. The Myriad Beasts Diagram, in its third stage form, could reduce the combat strength of beasts by 70%. Yang Yun's current strength was probably even weaker than that third-stage half-step true king killed by Yi Xian. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Yi Xian quickly cut Yang Yun's body in half and severely injured him. Then, Wei Zhentian transformed into the Ardent Desire demonic flute and finally the soul-absorbing bell. Clink! Roar! Yang Yun roared at the sky. At this moment, he was completely controlled by Yi Xian. After all, there were so many half-step true kings around. They gathered their immortal energy and trapped Yang Yun. Yang Yun could not move and could only let the soul-absorbing bell attack his soul continuously. Clink. Control successful. After being shaken several times by the soul-absorbing bell, Yang Yun finally could not resist and was controlled by Yi Xian. What by Longzi of the White Dragon Palace? Didn't he still become Yi Xian's slave? Greetings, Master. Yang Yun transformed into his human form and respectfully greeted Yi Xian. Yi Xian nodded in satisfaction. The soul-absorbing bell, a level 3 transcendent artifact, was indeed extremely powerful. If Yi Xian had used the 5 devouring points to strengthen his immortal slaying bloodline, he would have killed Yang Yun at most, but he would not have been able to obtain so many subordinates. All of you, bring me the items, then go out and collect the dragon scales of annihilation and the dragon bones of annihilation. Yi Xian immediately gave the order to the 100 half-step monarchs. The reason he had subdued so many people was naturally to make use of them. With so many half-step true kings going out to collect the world annihilation dragon scales, the efficiency would definitely be very high. Of course, what Yi Xian was most concerned about was Yang Yun's interspatial ring. No matter what, Yang Yun was the White Dragon's son chosen by the White Dragon Palace. Naturally, he had received many benefits, right? When Yi Xian finished looking through Yang Yun's interspatial ring, he was a little disappointed and said, "Why is there no dragon scale of annihilation? And why are there so few natural treasures?" There is one condition for being chosen as a white dragon, and that is to not accept favors from others. All cultivation resources must be obtained by oneself. However, the White Dragon Palace gave me a bottle of white dragon blood, Yang Yun said. White dragon blood. Is this it? Yi Xian took out a bottle of white liquid from his interspatial ring. This is the blood of the White Dragon Palace's ancestral master. After refining it, one's physique will greatly improve, and one will have the ability to fight above one's level. Yang Yun nodded. The dragon scales of annihilation and the dragon bones of annihilation were useless to him, so he did not have them in his interspatial ring. Yi Xian nodded slightly. At this moment, he focused his attention on the group of experts from the Bloodfire Hall. The soul-sucking bell earlier had not only controlled these 100 half-step true kings, but also the people from the Bloodfire Hall. The entire Bloodfire Hall, including tens of thousands of elites, had been controlled. At this moment, Yi Xian put this group of people into his interspatial ring and searched through their interspatial rings. The total wealth of these people was a huge number. Unfortunately, what Yi Xian lacked now was not natural treasures, but time. However, if all the dragon scales of annihilation were added together, there were actually more than 200,000 pieces. With another 300,000 pieces, the world annihilation ghostly dragon could enter the next stage. Of course, these 200,000 dragon scales of annihilation ghostly dragon had also increased the world annihilation ghostly dragon strength by 40%. In short, this battle had been very fruitful. Ding. Host has completed the random mission. Reward: Space-Time Bloodline Evolution 1 time. After some delay, the reward of the random mission finally arrived. Not bad, the space-time bloodline has evolved again. Yi Xian nodded satisfactorily. Now, 1 day in the outside world was equivalent to 280 years in the interspatial ring. Speaking of which, the half-step true kings had been sent out by Yi Xian to collect the dragon scales of annihilation. Even the experts from the Bloodfire Hall had done the same. Yi Xian used the soul-sucking bell to search the souls of the Bloodfire Hall's hallmasters and of course, by Longzi, Yang Yun. After searching their souls, Yi Xian had a better understanding of the Bloodfire Hall and Yang Yun's background. The strongest person in the Bloodfire Hall was only a stage 3 half-step true king. Now that Yi Xian had collected all of their dragon scales of annihilation ghostly dragon, there was no use for them anymore. As for the higher-ups of the Bloodfire Hall, Yi Xian already knew about them. However, what Yi Xian was concerned about now was Yang Yun's identity. This guy was the son of the Baiyang City's city lord. His father was a stage 6 half-step true king expert. I can pretend to be Yang Yun's new white dragon guard and sneak into Baiyang City. Then, I can ask Yang Yun to ask his father for a dragon scale of annihilation. Yi Xian planned in his heart. Although Yang Yun did not have a single dragon scale of annihilation, his father did. The Baiyang City's city lord was in charge of the White Dragon Palace's acquisition point in Baiyang City. This meant that the other party definitely had a large number of dragon scales of annihilation ghostly dragon scales or dragon bones of annihilation ghostly dragon. This plan was very good. Yi Xian immediately called back all the half-step true kings and told them to follow him to Baiyang City. Although Yang Yun was only a stage 3 half-step true king, his true battle strength had already surpassed that of a stage 4 half-step true king, or even a stage 5 half-step true king. It was also because of this that the city lord of Baiyang City, Yang Tian, was not afraid that Yang Yun would encounter any danger. After all, he knew the situation of the nearby factions. There were not many stage 4 half-step true kings, let alone stage 5 half-step true kings. How could Yang Yun be in danger when he had so many experts with him? What a joke! Yi Xian immediately ordered one of them to transform into his true form and fly towards Baiyang City. As the young city lord of Baiyang City and the Bai Longzi of the White Dragon Hall, Yang Yun's journey was naturally smooth. He quickly teleported back to Baiyang City. The young city lord is back.
I heard that the young city lord went to deal with the Bloodfire Hall. Judging from their expressions, the Bloodfire Hall should have been executed.
Chapter 1871. The White Dragon Hall doesn't seem to have any use for the World Destruction Dragon Scale. Are they hoarding it to prevent the Black Dragon sect from obtaining it? Isn't that obvious?
The reason why the Black Dragon sect is so powerful is because they have fused with the World Destruction Dragon Scale.
However, we can also fuse with the World Destruction Dragon Scale now. What advantage does the Black Dragon sect have? Do you think it's just the World Destruction Dragon Scale and World Destruction Dragon Bone? I heard that there's also the World Destruction Dragon Blood. Only the combination of Dragon Scale, Dragon Bone, and Dragon Blood can unleash greater power. World Destruction Dragon Blood? Why haven't I heard of it before? Only the geniuses of the Black Dragon sect can obtain the World Destruction Dragon Blood. I've only heard of it before. The people in Baiyang City began to discuss. These were all heard by Yi Xian. There's also a type of World Destruction Dragon Blood in the Black Dragon sect. If the World Destruction Ghost Dragon were to refine it, I wonder what effect it would have. Yi Xian was a little curious. Dragon Scale and Dragon Bone were scattered everywhere, but he had never obtained the Dragon Blood. Soon, they arrived at the City Lord Mansion.
Master, I'll report to my father.
After entering the City Lord Mansion, Yang Yun sent a message to Yi Xian. All right, do as I said before. Yi Xian nodded and left with a rank 3 half-step true king. The plan he was talking about was to have Yang Yun Xian report the matter of the Blood Flame Hall and say that they had already destroyed them. At the same time, Yi Xian did not plan to reveal the higher-ups of the Blood Flame Hall. He would let Yang Yun say that they were in contact with the Black Dragon Envoy. Then, Yi Xian would ask for the World Destruction Dragon Scale from the City Lord of Baiyang City. He would say that he met a super genius on the way and signed a master and servant blood contract. This would dispel the City Lord's doubts. Yang Yun left and went to find his father. However, his father, Yang Tian, was currently receiving an important guest. Father, I'm back. Yang Yun said to Yang Tian. Good, how did it go this time? Yang Tian asked with a smile. Yang Yun nodded and said, the Blood Flame Hall is indeed a branch of the Black Dragon cult. However, the Hall Master of the Blood Flame Hall doesn't know where the superior branch is. He is in contact with the Black Dragon Envoy. Oh, if that's the case, then forget it. It's better to destroy them. Yang Tian did not have the slightest doubt.
After he finished speaking, he turned his head to look at an old man beside him.
This is Deputy City Lord Zhua Kong of Flowing Light City. He heard that you have become Bai Longzi, so he came to congratulate you.
Greetings, Senior Zhua.
Yang Yun cupped his fists respectfully.
Young City Lord, you are indeed a man of striking appearance.
Here is a top-grade dragon bone. Please accept it. As Zhua Kong spoke, he took out a palm-sized dragon bone from his interspatial ring. Such a large piece of dragon bone, and it was of the highest quality. A conservative estimate was equivalent to 100,000 Armageddon dragon scales. For those who could integrate with the World Annihilation Dragon Scale, it was nothing. However, for those who could not integrate with the World Annihilation Dragon Scale, it was a priceless treasure. Because they did not fuse with the World Annihilation Dragon Scale, they could only comprehend the World Annihilation attack from it. With such a large piece of top-grade dragon bone, the comprehension speed would definitely far surpass 100,000 Armageddon dragon scales. Yang Tian and Yang Yun were both white dragons, so they could not integrate with the World Annihilation Dragon Scale and could only comprehend the World Annihilation attack. This piece of top-grade dragon bone was just right for them.
Thank you, Qian. Yang Yun's eyes lit up and was about to take it.
But at this moment, Zhuo Kang's hand suddenly trembled. He looked at Yang Yun in surprise and felt that something was wrong. Deputy City Lord Zhuo, what's wrong? Yang Tian looked at Zhuo Kang strangely. Could it be that the other party went back on his word? I don't know if I sensed wrongly. City Lord Yang, the young City Lord's soul is a little strange. It seems to be controlled by someone. Zhuo Kang raised his eyebrows. He was a 7th grade half-step true king, one realm higher than Yang Tian, a 6th grade half-step true king. Moreover, it was so close so he was discovered. When Yang Tian heard this, his body could not help but tremble. Yang Yun, controlled by someone? How could it be?
How could it be Yang Yun's strength? Yang Tian was in disbelief. He went forward to check, and sure enough, there was a problem.
Not good. Yang Yun's expression changed drastically.
He did not expect to expose his secret in a moment of excitement.
Before he could react, Yang Tian and Zhuo Kang restrained him, one on the left and one on the right. Yang Yun, who was controlled by the soul-sucking bell, quickly sent a voice transmission to Yi Xian, informing Yi Xian of the situation. At this moment, in a corner of the City Lord Mansion. What? Yi Xian was shocked. He did not expect someone to be proficient in the soul and discover something wrong with Yang Yun. The next moment. Ding! Yang Yun escaped from control. A system notification sounded in his mind. Yang Yun actually escaped from control. A similar thing had happened before. At that time, when they were still in the mortal world, the Crimson Blood Corpse King's strength skyrocketed after being glared at by the Eye of Death. At that time, the Crimson Blood Corpse King also escaped from Yi Xian's control. Of course, the current problem was that Yi Xian and Wei Zhentian's cultivation were too low. Wei Zhentian was only an 8th stage half-step true monarch, 14 stages away from a 3rd stage half-step true monarch. Moreover, his cultivation was higher than Yang Yun's. Therefore, Yi Xian did not feel anything. However, he did not expect to be discovered so quickly. Since he was exposed, Yang Yun should immediately bring people over. Since that was the case, then let's have a great battle. As expected, when Yi Xian jumped into the sky, he discovered 3 figures flying towards him. One of them was Yang Yun, who had just escaped the control of the soul-sucking bell. As for the other 2, their auras were much stronger than Yang Yun's.
Father, it's him.
Yang Yun's figure paused as he pointed at Yi Xian.
Brat, it was you who controlled my son?
Yang Tian looked at Yi Xian and slowly asked. He did not understand how Yi Xian, a 4th stage half-step true monarch, was able to control Yang Yun, a 3rd stage half-step true monarch. One must know that the difference between them was close to 2 major stages. So what? Yi Xian coldly snorted. Yang Tian narrowed his eyes. When Yang Yun woke up earlier, he had sent him a voice transmission. Yi Xian's aptitude was higher than Yang Yun's, and he had left him in the dust. If he could be controlled, the Yang family would soar. Brat, you really have guts. You actually dared to attack my son. You're courting death. Yang Tian's eyes flashed as he directly attacked. He was a 6th stage half-step true monarch, much stronger than Yang Yun. The moment he attacked, he had the momentum to topple mountains and overturn seas. However, Yi Xian was already prepared and quickly flashed away. In the next moment, a change occurred in the City Lord Manor. Boom, boom, boom. Those half-step true monarchs controlled by Yi Xian started to attack. Not good, father. He's also controlling the 100 half-step true monarchs that I took away. Chapter 1872. Yang Yun had just regained consciousness and forgot that the others were also being controlled by Yi Xian in his anger. Fortunately, the people controlled by Yi Xian were not of high realms. They were at most stage 3 half-step true monarchs and would not be able to cause much trouble. Yi Xian did not expect these people to cause any trouble. He just could not let them stay here. At this moment, Yang Tian was already charging towards Yi Xian. Soul-absorbing bell. Yi Xian suddenly used blink and dodged to the side. Then, he quickly turned Wei Zhentian into the soul-absorbing bell. Ding! In an instant, the low-level people in the City Lord Manor were controlled by Yi Xian and jumped into the air. What kind of treasure is that? It can control so many people? Yang Tian and the other 2 were shocked.
It seemed that they had encountered a troublesome person this time. City Lord Yong, I will help you.
Zhua Kong shouted coldly and also charged towards Yi Xian. A stage 6 half-step true monarch and a stage 7 half-step true monarch were already a threat to Yi Xian. This guy has never appeared in Yang Yun's memory. He is probably from somewhere else. His aura is even stronger than the city lord of Baiyang City. He is probably a stage 7 half-step true monarch. Yi Xian thought in his heart as he directly used the time reversal skill. Time reversal was half a day before they returned to Baiyang City. This way, after half a day of travel, time reversal would be restored. However, this time, Yi Xian was not going to let Yang Yun go just like that. He wanted to wait for a while. Ding! Host has broken through. Host is now a stage 5 half-step true monarch. Ding! Inferno Ghostly Lord, World-Destroying Ghostly Dragon, Wei Zhentian, and Sky-Breaking Ape God have broken through. Host is now a stage 9 half-step true monarch. Now, Yi Xian had the strength to kill his way into the City Lord Manor. Wei Zhentian's realm increased and so did the soul-absorbing bells effect. However, while Yi Xian was waiting for his breakthrough, he discovered a new treasure. This treasure was called the Gemini Heart Linking Pendant. It could allow Yi Xian to connect with someone. After the connection was made, both sides would experience a corresponding increase or decrease in level according to the difference in level. Currently, Yi Xian was a stage 5 half-step true monarch. If he were to connect with someone of a higher level, his strength would increase. On the other side, the person he was connecting to had a higher realm than him, so after the connection, his realm would drop. This Gemini heart-linking pendant didn't specify how much of an improvement it can provide. Whatever, let's try it out first. Yi Xian narrowed his eyes and made Wei Zhentian transform into the Gemini Heartbind pendant. Its target was the 3rd stage half-step true monarch, Yang Yun. Swish! 2 thin red lines shot out from Wei Zhentian's Gemini heart-linking pendant and shone on Yi Xian and evil cold Yang Yun. To be precise, they shone on their hearts. In the next moment, Yi Xian felt his strength skyrocket. In the blink of an eye, he actually broke through to the 6th stage half-step true monarch realm. On the other hand, Yang Yun had dropped from rank 3 half-step true monarch to rank 2 half-step true monarch. Yi Xian had risen a level. Yang Yun had dropped a level. F***CK. What an awesome treasure. Yi Xian opened his eyes wide. With this treasure, he could quickly reduce the gap between him and his enemy. However, this Gemini heart-linking pendant had a distance restriction. If the opponent was too far away from Wei Zhentian, the heart-linking effect would disappear. At that time, the two's realms would return to normal. Not only that, the heart-linking effect also had a success rate. Increasing one's luck value would increase the success rate. This was the first time Yi Xian used it, and he succeeded on the first try because his luck was pretty good. I succeeded on this Yang Yun, but I don't know if it will work on the 6th stage half-step true monarch realm lord of Baiyang City. Moreover, there was also that 7th stage half-step true monarch. I wonder if he's still in Baiyang City, Yi Xian thought to himself. No matter what, he had to give it a try. However, this time, he decided not to bring Yang Yun with him. Instead, he would head to Baiyang City alone. If I don't bring Yang Yun with me, I won't be exposed. At that time, I'll definitely teach those two a lesson. Yi Xian's eyes flickered as he headed to Baiyang City alone. Soon, he arrived at his destination. At this time, his cultivation level was higher than when he was in Baiyang City. Moreover, he had Wei Zhentian maintain the form of the Gemini heart-linking pendant. This way, as long as he did not transform into another form, he would be able to maintain it. At this time, Yi Xian had already entered Baiyang City once again. After entering, he went straight to the city lord's mansion. This time, because he came alone, no one entered the city lord's mansion. Therefore, no one knew what was going on inside. I'll pretend that the 7th stage half-step true monarch is still here. When the time comes, I'll use the Gemini heart-linking pendant. As long as it succeeds, I'll be able to kill them. Thinking of this, Yi Xian directly summoned the old tree, the world-annihilating ghost dragon, and the others. Then he merged with them. An eerie aura instantly spread out. When the experts in the city lord's mansion felt this aura, their bodies trembled. Immediately, a few half-step true monarchs leaped into the air. However, as soon as they appeared, They were directly killed by Yi Xian's Black Dragon Flame Wave. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. Ding! Host has condensed 1 slaughter seal. System notifications rang out one after another. Yi Xian had condensed 10 slaughter seals in an instant. Then, the slaughter seal increased by 20 times. Who is it? Following the death of the half-step true monarch, the experts in the City Lord's mansion appeared one after another. Those who were not 5th stage half-step true monarchs were directly killed by Yi Xian. In an instant, a large number of immortal slaughtering puppets with 8 slaughter seals appeared in the air. The immortal slaughtering puppets summoned by Yi Xian were at least 3rd stage half-step true monarchs. With so many puppets added together, they were comparable to a few 5th stage half-step true monarchs. With so many people dying in the City Lord's mansion, the City Lord of Baiyang City naturally couldn't sit still and immediately rushed out. Behind him was the old man from that day, the 7th stage half-step true monarch, Zhuo Kong. Is that old man still here? Good. Yi Xian's gaze landed on Zhuo Kong. Right now, he wasn't afraid of the City Lord of Baiyang City, a 6th stage half-step true monarch. Instead, he was afraid of Zhuo Kong. It was obvious that Zhuo Kong belonged to a faction that was even more powerful than Baiyang City. However, this didn't matter. Brat, who are you? Baiyang City Lord Yang Tian asked. The last time he saw Yi Xian, it was already a matter of time going back, so he didn't remember. The person who will kill you. Yi Xian didn't say anything else and directly ordered Wei Zhentian to attack. Whoosh! Whoosh! 2 thin red lines shot out from the Gemini Heartlink pendant and flew towards Yi Xian and Zhuo Kong respectively. As long as the connection was successful, everyone here today wouldn't be enough for Yi Xian to look at.